Tigo Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
In Nationwide News at this hour, the legal fight to free Vybz Cartel and his co-accused got underway this morning with a slew of objections from the office of the DPP.
Cartel's son alleges his father's heart will not survive a retrial and that his grandmother prays every night for the entertainer's release.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education says she's not getting value for money after spending billions of dollars on teaching and learning resources.
We went into partnership with Learning Hub and we buy 40,000 licenses and we send them out to you every year. And teachers, I am not getting value for money. You don't even open the license.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness says his administration remains focused on ensuring more people benefit from the fiscal gains in the economy.
When you talk to business people, they tell you it's the best the economy has ever been in Jamaica.
Opposition leader Mark Golding criticizes the government's handling of the education sector.
In news from the rest of the world, new Haitian Prime Minister out of hospital after spending a night in treatment.
UN Security Council adopts U.S. draft resolution supporting Gaza ceasefire deal.
In headline sports, JOA President Chris Samuda says French snap election could have serious consequences for the Olympic Games.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, the Court of Appeal has requested a report from the Supreme Court on how cases sent for retrial over the last 6 years have been dealt with. This during day one of the retrial hearing of Vybz Cartel and his 3 co-accused. You'll hear more.
Also in the cover story, West Portland MP Darrell Vaz is questioning why opposition leader Mark Golding is still holding on to his British citizenship.
Unable to pick a side. Why? Anybody that has the ambition to become the Prime Minister of Jamaica, you have to be willing to put Jamaica first.
You'll hear more from the JLP's constituency conference in East Rural St. Andrew on Sunday.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, were you affected by today's taxi strike? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, what impact did the withdrawal of services by taxi operators have on the commuting public on Monday? We'll hear from the president of the One Voice Taxi Association, Lorraine Finnegan.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90FM, Nationwide Radio JM.com, and on the Nationwide app available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Monday afternoon, it's Monday, June 10, 2024.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. The Court of Appeal will request a report from the Supreme Court detailing how cases sent for retrial over the last 6 years have been dealt with. That particular issue was decided on day one of the retrial hearing of Vybz Cartel and his 3 co-accused, Sean Storm Campbell, Kahira Jones, and Andre St. John. Mahira Stewart reports.
The highly anticipated retrial hearing got underway promptly at 9:30 this morning. As is the norm whenever the self-styled world boss has a matter set for mention, the courtroom was packed. This led to a second room being used to accommodate the overflow of attorneys, journalists, and court staff who had gathered to read the legal tea leaves. The country's acting director of public prosecutions, Claudette Thompson, took to her feet shortly after proceedings got underway. She raised several preliminary objections to aspects of the affidavits filed by the accused men and their relatives. 2 of her objections stood out. Cartel's son, Adidja Jaheim Palmer, outlined in his filing that he believed his father's heart would be unable to manage a retrial due to a medical report. Cartel, whose given name is Adidja Palmer, has faced several health scares since he was incarcerated in 2014. The young Palmer alleged in his affidavit that his grandmother prays every night for his father to be released from prison. The young Palmer alleged that his father's imprisonment has affected their family life. The DPP objected. Justice Marva MacDonald Bishop agreed in part. She struck out the parts of the youngster's affidavit that spoke to his father's medical condition. She also rejected claims of alleged prayers from Cartel's mother. According to the justice, the claims amounted to hearsay and involved matters the young Palmer had no competence to speak to. The DPP's office also attempted to object to aspects of Cartel's affidavit, claiming his human rights were being violated by terrible prison conditions in Jamaica. The judge refused to uphold those objections. The judges also threw out objections to aspects of Sean Campbell's affidavit, which criticized the coverage of the matter by untrained journalists and online bloggers. Sean Storm believes that coverage has colored public perception and has brought into question the possibility of him receiving a fair retrial. His sister also alleged in her filing that the family would be unable to find the money to mount a defense if a retrial were ordered. She says in her affidavit that the Jamaican justice system would be unable to find an impartial jury to rehear the matter. Despite the acting DPP's objections, the justices allowed those aspects of the affidavit to stand. It was the affidavit of Andre St. John that raised the issue of uncertainty as to when a retrial would be held if one were ordered. The justices inquired as to whether there was a backlog of cases sent back to the Supreme Court for retrial. Having not received a satisfactory response, Justice Marva MacDonald Bishop noted that the judges would instruct the Registrar of the Court of Appeal to find out the status of cases where retrials have been ordered. Justice MacDonald Bishop noted that the length of time it was taking for retrials to begin was material to Cartel's case. She insisted that it was the need to be fair that led her to request the report. Defense counsel advised the judges that it would be fair if they requested a report on cases going back 6 years. The retrial matter is being heard by Justices Marva MacDonald Bishop, Paulette Williams, and David Fraser. Substantive arguments will begin at 9:30 Tuesday morning. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, a member of Cartel's legal team, Alessandra Labeach, says despite aspects of the affidavits of the accused men and their relatives being struck out, they're still confident in the case.
Yes, we are satisfied, and if it is that while we're making the submissions, we should take issue with any of those, I'm certain that we will raise them at the appropriate time.
Ms. Labeach says Cartel and his co-accused are anxious to be freed.
As we spoke, all of the appellants are eager to have their matter dealt with so that the issue of their freedom can finally be determined. They're eager to return to society and to their families. So we are endeavoring to ensure that that is attainable.
Alessandra Labeach, a member of Cartel's legal team, she was speaking with journalists outside the Court of Appeal on Monday.
In other news now, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education and Youth, Dr. Kassan Troop, says the ministry is not getting value for money after spending billions of dollars on teaching and learning resources. Dr. Troop says teachers are underutilizing the material. Robian Williams has that story.
Dr. Troop says online material from Learning Hub and Microsoft Computer software packages is among the learning resources the ministry has spent billions of dollars to procure in an effort to help teachers achieve better outcomes in the classrooms. But Dr. Troop lamented that to date, some teachers haven't even signed in to access the suite of products.
We procured learning resources for grade 4 students. The same learning hub that the rich families have access to. We went into partnership with Learning Hub and we buy licenses for all grade 4 students. 40,000 licenses, and we send them out to you every year. And teachers never cry. I am not getting value for money. You don't even open the license. We spent $89 million to get you the Microsoft 365. $89 million. I signed a new contract this year for another 89. So you can get access to the suites. And we know that some persons have not access. And we said you can download it to up to 5 devices and you only need the internet once.
Dr. Troop was addressing a sensitization session for teachers at the Montego Bay Convention Center in Rose Hall, St. James last week. She told the gathering that the ministry has increased the number of learning resources sent to schools. She says many teachers are not using them. The permanent secretary added that $2 billion were spent on purchasing learning material last year. She noted that the same amount is being spent this year, plus an additional $1 billion to build workbooks. Dr. True pointed out that the e-books procured for high school teachers are also being underutilized.
High school teachers, we bought books, over 40,000 licenses for English language, mathematics, so you don't have to take the heavy book to school and into the classroom. You put it on your laptop and you don't access the books. I have to pay. We have to pay, and we cannot get back the money.
Additionally, Dr. Troop stated that teachers have long complained about the need to focus more on teaching rather than spending time writing lesson plans from scratch. According to her, a prototype system has been made available to produce lesson plans.
And now we already have over 700 plans that are localized, developed by people like us, and they're on the website for you. You don't have to start from scratch. You said to us, take away administrative burden, we want to teach. And so we went and said, let's develop these lesson plans and they're available for you. When the pandemic hit, we had the tablets going out and you said no. It was a negotiated benefit and it was not appropriate. And the ministry invested $2 billion in getting laptops for you. We're not starting from a place of lack. We are going to make the best of what we have. Is it sufficient? No. But we are not starting from ground zero.
Robeanne Williams for Nationwide News.
The Transport Authority says a meeting will be held on Tuesday to address issues regarding the demerit point system used to suspend drivers' licenses. This follows a withdrawal of services on Monday by some operators of public passenger vehicles, PPVs. These operators expressed concerns about the move to suspend drivers' licenses as well as the assignment of points for certain infractions under the Road Traffic Act. Managing Director of the Transport Authority, Ralston Smith, says Tuesday's meeting will include entities such as the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEB, and the Island Traffic Authority, the ITA.
What the minister has tasked us to do in respect of his own review of the Road Traffic Act is for the heads of entities, the Transport Authority, the Island Traffic Authority, and in fact the head of PSTEB to sit together with the steering committee as well as the other sector players and leaders and examine the areas of concerns raised by these operators with a view to positioning them before the minister and his consultative team that is currently reviewing the Road Traffic Act. So in essence, that's what we will sit down and do tomorrow.
Mr. Smith is encouraging operators to reach out to their respective representatives with their concerns to aid in the discussion.
In that construct, we are calling upon all the operators having concerns to express them through their respective leaders, through the respective associations, so that those matters can come to the fore and we can properly represent them before the minister and the consultative team during the review of the Road Traffic Act.
Ralston Smith, the Managing Director of the Transport Authority. You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. More after these.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is
14 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial is the expert in pest control, air purification, and hygiene services. Call today 876-926-4236.
The temperature by Rentokil is
32 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 31 out west in Montego Bay.
The Office of the Information Commissioner, OIC, is Jamaica's data protection regulator. We're here to ensure large and small, public and private data controllers comply with the Data Protection Act. All data controllers must register with the OIC and process personal data in accordance with the law. Help us create a data-safe society for all. For more information, call us at 876-929-6952. Visit our website at oic.gov.jm. The OIC, your data, your rights protected.
Continuing the news, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says though feedback about the government's management of the economy is encouraging, his administration remains focused on ensuring more people benefit from the fiscal gains. The Prime Minister was addressing a constituency conference in East Rural St. Andrew on Sunday. In an obvious reference to the ongoing dual citizenship saga surrounding PNP President Mark Golding, Prime Minister Holness says it's evident that the JLP is the party for Jamaicans focused on improving the lives of Jamaicans.
We are going to support Jamaica, no matter what, because we don't have any conflict. We choose Jamaica. And every Jamaican knows that the Jamaica Labour Party is best for Jamaica. Listen to me now. When you talk to business people, they tell you it's the best the economy has ever been in Jamaica.
According to Mr. Holness, a key area of focus for his government is to ensure that the administration's good management of the economy results in tangible benefits to more Jamaicans.
Everybody realize that progress is being made by the government. The issue now is how do we get that progress to speed up, to be sustainable, and to be spread widely and evenly in the society. That is the issue. And that is what this government is working on. So my mission and my message to you is that we are going to remain focused on what we have to do. We will not be in any way distracted.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness.
Member of Parliament for West Portland, Darrell Vaz, says he's not surprised by the findings of a recent Blue Dot poll which found that 64% of Jamaicans do not want a Prime Minister with dual citizenship.
He said that he wanted to hear from the Jamaican people as to whether or not he should do the right thing. Well, we all saw the poll this morning, where 64% of those polled. And by the way, those polled are persons that are enumerated. You cannot have 1 foot in and 1 foot out.
The poll was conducted after opposition leader Mark Golding insisted he'd only relinquish his UK citizenship if the Jamaican people said he should. MP Vaz reminded Labourites at a constituency conference in East Rural St. Andrew on Sunday that he relinquished his US citizenship without hesitation following a court ruling in 2008. He's questioning Golding's reluctance to choose Jamaica.
The question is why? Unable to pick a side. Why? Anybody that has the ambition to become the Prime Minister of Jamaica, you have to be willing to put Jamaica first. Not only first, second, and third.
That's Darrell Vaz, the Member of Parliament for West Portland.
Opposition leader Mark Golding has criticized the government for its handling of the education sector in light of the country's literacy rate. Mr. Golding says the literacy rate of Jamaica's children is worrisome. He says an issue like this can snowball into a situation where students drop out of school and contribute to crime and violence.
We have to fix up the school system. Over 30% of the children leaving primary school can't read and write. What kind of thing that? You can't develop a country like that. Then when they go through high school, they're not even ready to do the basics and struggle through high school. Then confidence low. Then they don't leave high school, they don't have no certificate, they don't have the subject. And many of them end up going the wrong way. And that creates mayhem for all the way.
Mr. Golding was speaking Sunday evening at a PNP divisional conference at Alligator Pond, Manchester. He told comrades that once elected into government, the PNP will solve these issues by paying special attention to the early childhood sector.
We have to fix the school system at the source, early childhood and primary, and get that right. The next PNP government is going to prioritize that. We want the best early childhood and primary school system in this hemisphere. Because when you them bright, we need to start them right. They are the future.
Mark Golding, opposition leader.
And the People's National Party Youth Organization, the PNPYO, is calling on Prime Minister Andrew Holness to address concerns over his uncertified statutory declarations. The call came from the PNPYO's president, Senator Gabriella Morris. In a statement, the senator says Prime Minister Holness's statutory declaration has not been certified by the Integrity Commission for nearly 3 years. She says the Holness administration needs to take immediate and decisive action to address these issues and to come clean to the public in order to restore the nation's confidence. According to the PNPYO president, there are concerns about the reputational damage that this may cause Jamaica on an international stage. She says a prime minister who has unresolved integrity filings cannot serve in that capacity. The senator adds that the Holness government has a worrying track record. She says the JLP administration has a pattern of placing unfit and connected people in key positions.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The World in a Minute. Haiti's new selected Prime Minister Gary Conille was discharged from a hospital on Sunday after spending a night in treatment for an undisclosed condition. In a video published on YouTube, Conille said he felt well and was ready to continue to help steer the country out of its current security crisis by forming a government that will also prioritize issues like health care. Conille arrived in Haiti on June 1 after a transitional council selected him as the nation's new prime minister. Gang violence remains relentless in the Caribbean country. 3 police officers were killed on Sunday and a 4th one is missing. Sinapoa, a police union, says the officers were part of a new anti-gang unit.
The United Nations Security Council on Monday adopted a U.S. draft resolution urging Hamas to accept the latest ceasefire and hostage release deal. 14 members of the council voted in favor of the measure. Russia, one of the 5 permanent members of the Security Council with veto power over resolutions, abstained. It was the only country to do so. Hamas released a statement following the vote, saying they welcome what was included in the draft resolution regarding a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. President Joe Biden backed the deal in late May, announcing Israel had degraded Hamas's capabilities and that it was time for the war to come to an end and the day after to begin.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, the legal fight to free Vybz Cartel and his co-accused got underway this morning with a slew of objections from the office of the DPP.
Cartel's son alleges his father's heart will not survive a retrial and that his grandmother prays every night for the entertainer's release.
Dr. Kassan Troop says the education ministry is not getting value for money after spending billions of dollars on teaching and learning resources.
We went into partnership with Learning Hub and we buy 40,000 licenses and we send them out to you every year. And teachers, I am not getting value for money. You don't even open the license.
Opposition leader Mark Golding criticizes the government's handling of the education sector.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
And you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
The Development Bank of Jamaica wants to see more businesses, more job creation, and better opportunities for people across Jamaica. That's why since day one, we've been dedicated to facilitating economic growth and development across all sectors, while providing funding and technical assistance to MSMEs, projects, and other businesses through our strong partnerships. Because helping to build better businesses helps to build a better Jamaican economy for everyone. Visit us at dbankjm.com for more info. DBJ, the business builder.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. President of the Jamaica Olympic Association, JOA, Chris Samuda, says the snap election called by the French President Emmanuel Macron could have serious consequences ahead of the Paris Olympic Games. The two-round parliamentary elections have been called for June 30 and July 7, with the Summer Games set to begin less than 3 weeks later on July 26. Samuda says it's not the best time for the people of France to go to the polls.
The Olympic Games will be the Olympic Games, come what may. But there will be risks if party supporters become overzealous, polls are disputed, and political conversations and actions become verbal and physical abuses and even violent. Then the security and safety of athletes, coaches, officials, and other stakeholders, as well as fans, will become a real concern, which will inevitably impact the Games adversely. Wrong timing for the Games, but perhaps a strategic time to politically court the electorate and to navigate political fortunes.
Samuda says the Macron government may be using the Olympic Games as a distraction.
Politics and politicking must never enter sport. And without ascribing any motive, the snap elections at the call of French President Macron may very well give that impression of a political directorate taking advantage of a feel-good that comes with an Olympic spectacle to enhance political goodwill and to take one over the line. Or it may be the hope that it will be a distraction that will facilitate a low voter turnout, which customarily favors the incumbent party.
JOA President Chris Samuda. Jamaican quarter-miler Nikisha Price says she surprised herself with the record-breaking performance at the NCAA Outdoor Championships at the Hayward Field in Eugene, Oregon at the weekend. The former Vertex star posted 48.89 seconds to win the women's 400 meters, breaking Lorraine Fenton's 22-year-old national record of 49.30. The time is also a collegiate record and was the world lead before Sydney McLaughlin replaced it at the New York Grand Prix a day later. Price's achievement helped the University of Arkansas to win the national women's title.
I was shocked. I was speechless. I never expected though, but it just happened. Running with my teammates, they pushed me a lot, especially Kaylin. Yeah. She pushed me a lot too. So I'm just grateful.
Nikisha Price. Meanwhile, the 2022 World Under-20 champion over 200 meters, Brianna Liston, says she's beginning to fall in love with the 100 meters. Liston, who is a sophomore at Louisiana State University, finished second in the 100 meters in Eugene at the weekend.
My sophomore year has been phenomenal. Not much to complain about, you know, with all the niggles and stuff, not much to complain about. I still came out here, did what I could for my team, did what I could for myself and my mental, and yeah, I am overjoyed, over elated. Like, this is truly like the biggest stage to compete on. Come, we runner up, like last year I wasn't even in this event, so you know, you gotta take your small wins, your small blessings, and just run at them. Used to not like it at all because it was so technical, but I think I'm getting it together.
That's Brianna Liston. Jamaica's track and field megastar Usain Bolt has revealed that his long-term kit sponsor Puma was willing to offer him a big contract to come out of retirement 2 years after he decided to walk away from the sport. Bolt, speaking on the Run JM podcast, said in 2019 the head of Puma, Bjorn Gulden, who is now in charge of rival brand Adidas, told him they would put up big money for him to make a return.
The CEO at the time, he's with Adidas now, but at the time he was like, listen, we'll give you a proper contract if you want to come back and run.
How long ago was that?
It was like 2 years after I retired.
Okay.
I was like, you know what, I would do it, because when you go away from the sport, then you start missing it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I think I might can do it again.
Bolt, who is arguably the greatest sprinter of all time, says he did give it some thought, but his legendary coach, Glenn Mills, shut down the idea.
I talked to my coach. My coach was like, absolutely not. But my coach told me, he said to me, listen, if you're going to retire, that's it. I'm not going to coach you again. This is it. There's no coming back after this. So when I went to him, he was like, no, absolutely not.
Usain Bolt, who won 8 individual Olympic gold medals over an illustrious 14-year professional career, retired from the sport in 2017 at the World Outdoor Championships in London. He currently holds the world records in the 100 and 200 meters and was part of the crack Jamaican teams that twice broke the world 4x100 meters records in 2008 in Beijing and 4 years later in London. South Africa maintained their 100% record at the ICC T20 World Cup thanks to a tense 4-run win over Bangladesh in their Group D encounter in New York City today. Bangladesh were set 114 to win but could only manage 109 for 7 in their 20 overs, and this despite being gifted a few opportunities to get over the line. Towid Hidroy led the way with 37 and Mamadullah 20 as Kavish Maharaj ended with 3 for 27, Khadija Rabada 2 for 19 and Eindrit Noordka 2 for 17. Earlier South Africa were restricted to 113 for 6 in their 20 overs. Hendrik Klaassen top scored at 46, David Miller on his 35th birthday made 29 and Quinton de Kock 18. Tamzim Hassan Sakib was impressive. He bagged 3 for 18, while Taskin Ahmed grabbed 2 for 19. The Springboks will now leave the United States with 3 wins from as many starts. They head to the Caribbean to take on Nepal in St. Vincent in their final group game and in pole position to book their spot in the Super 8s. Bangladesh also heads to the Caribbean to face the Netherlands and Nepal with a Super 8 spot in sight as well. And we close this sportscast with the Nationwide Olympic Fact, and it's sponsored by Fontana Pharmacy.
This is Nationwide's Olympic Facts, brought to you by Fontana Pharmacy. It's all good inside.
Did you know that Jamaican athletes competed as part of a unified Caribbean team at one Olympic Games? Yes, that's a fact. Jamaica's athletes competed as part of the West Indies Federation team at the 1960 Olympics in Rome.
That was Nationwide's Olympic Facts, brought to you by Fontana Pharmacy. It's all good inside.
That's sports. We're going to be back with more at 6:05.
Hyundai, the home of modern, premium, affordable vehicles. Call us at 876-630-1511. The time by Hyundai is
5:31.
Never before in our history has there been more roads built or under construction at the same time. The Maypen to Williamsfield Highway, the Montego Bay Perimeter Road, the South Coast Highway Improvement Project, and many more. We are building Jamaica.
The temperature by the office of the Prime Minister is
31 degrees Celsius in Kingston and Montego Bay.
Live exquisite this year with new arrival black and chrome fixtures for your home at Unique Living. Select from a wide variety of rain shower systems, fabulous faucets, and stylish sinks to suit your kitchen and bathrooms. Get uncompromised quality and style unique to you. Shop everything new at Unique Living, Jamaica's leading shower and faucets provider. Visit shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call 876-755-3661 to 2.
To seize opportunities on your business horizon, you need tailored financing solutions from a partner that takes the time to understand your business. Sagicor Investments. We offer mid-sized to large corporations the debt and equity financing solutions they need to drive growth. Backed by the strength of Sagicor Group, one of the largest financial conglomerates in the region, you can be confident that we will deliver. Make your business move with Sagicor Investments. Contact our capital markets unit at 888 Sagicor.
Drive Hyundai vehicles beyond your dreams with an exclusive 5.99% interest rate. Yes, shop Hyundai vehicles and get a super low 5.99% interest rate on your car loan. Plus 2 years free service, 1 year insurance, and 5 years warranty. Offer valid on all 2024 Hyundai vehicles. Drive your Hyundai with the lowest interest 5.99%. Conditions apply.
Attention engine enthusiasts in Jamaica. Did you know that Lucalza Caribbean is the only authorized distributor of Chevron lubricants? Lucalza has been the trusted partner for Chevron lubricants in Jamaica for over 13 years, offering the full range of Chevron and Texaco products including Ursa, Haviland, Supreme, Delo and more. For peace of mind and superior engine care, trust the Chevron lubricants portfolio, distributed by Lucalza Caribbean and their network of reliable resellers. Don't compromise your engine performance. Drive with Chevron. Drive with confidence.
It is said most boys in Jamaica live in households led by strong women. But so many women claim the men today are generally weak and lacking in foundation. Lo, these are not words I invented.
Man a man. Man must stand up like man. Man must act like man. Man must behave like man. Man must take decision like man. You weak jellyback. Oh, Jesus have mercy. Me not deal with jellyback man. Me love man, we a man. We stand up like man. We talk like man. We act like man. We behave like man. Man a man.
Who is to be blamed for this failing in fortitude? And if it isn't true, why does this narrative keep getting support from women? Join me, Rodney Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic: is the Jamaican man still upstanding, or has he lost his spine?
Oh, Jesus have mercy.
Affairs of the Heart is brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy. Super happy, super healthy, Supermed.
ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC.
Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton. Weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
We've been a part of everyday Jamaican life for over 25 years. From paydays to birthdays, unexpected emergencies to anniversary celebrations, the supermarket checkout line, or paying a bill or taxes on time. Our fast, secure debit network provides reliable service so you can always depend on Multilink. Jamaican and proud, fast, secure, everywhere.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here in Nationwide at 5 this Monday afternoon. It's Monday, June 10, 2024. I'm Cliff Hughes. And I'm Ricardo. Good afternoon, Ricardo. Good afternoon, Sir Cliff. How are you? Well, we're good. I'm good. Yeah. And in the cover story this afternoon, what happened in the Court of Appeal today in the matter of Vibes Cartel? Well, the court says it will request a report from the Supreme Court detailing how cases sent for retrial over the last 6 years have been dealt with. That particular issue was decided on day one of the retrial hearing of Cartel and his three co-accused, Sean Storm Campbell, Kahira Jones, and Andre St. John. Mahira Stewart has more.
The highly anticipated retrial hearing got underway promptly at 9:30 this morning. As is the norm whenever the self-styled world boss has a matter set for mention, the courtroom was packed. This led to a second room being used to accommodate the overflow of attorneys, journalists, and court staff who had gathered to read the legal tea leaves. The country's acting director of public prosecutions, Claudette Thompson, took to her feet shortly after proceedings got underway. She raised several preliminary objections to aspects of the affidavits filed by the accused men and their relatives. Two of her objections stood out. Cartel's son, Adidja Jaheem Palmer, outlined in his filing that he believed his father's heart would be unable to manage a retrial due to a medical report. Cartel, whose given name is Adidja Palmer, has faced several health scares since he was incarcerated in 2014. The young Palmer alleged in his affidavit that his grandmother prays every night for his father to be released from prison. The young Palmer alleged that his father's imprisonment has affected their family life. The DPP objected. Justice Marva MacDonald Bishop agreed in part. She struck out the parts of the youngster's affidavit that spoke to his father's medical condition. She also rejected claims of alleged prayers from Cartel's mother. According to the justice, the claims amounted to hearsay and involved matters the young Palmer had no competence to speak to. The DPP's office also attempted to object to aspects of Cartel's affidavit, claiming his human rights were being violated by terrible prison conditions in Jamaica. The judge refused to uphold those objections. The judges also threw out objections to aspects of Sean Campbell's affidavit, which criticized the coverage of the matter by untrained journalists and online bloggers. Sean Storm believes that coverage has colored public perception and has brought into question the possibility of him receiving a fair retrial. His sister also alleged in her filing that the family would be unable to find the money to mount a defense if a retrial were ordered. She says in her affidavit that the Jamaican justice system would be unable to find an impartial jury to rehear the matter. Despite the acting DPP's objections, the justices allowed those aspects of the affidavit to stand. It was the affidavit of Andre St. John that raised the issue of uncertainty as to when a retrial would be held if one were ordered. The justices inquired as to whether there was a backlog of cases sent back to the Supreme Court for retrial. Having not received a satisfactory response, Justice Marva MacDonald Bishop noted that the judges would instruct the Registrar of the Court of Appeal to find out the status of cases where retrials have been ordered. Justice MacDonald Bishop noted that the length of time it was taking for retrials to begin was material to Cartel's case. She insisted that it was the need to be fair that led her to request the report. Defense counsel advised the judges that it would be fair if they requested a report on cases going back 6 years. The retrial matter is being heard by Justices Marva MacDonald Bishop, Paulette Williams, and David Fraser. Substantive arguments will begin at 9:30 Tuesday morning. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Thanks, Mahiri. So, as you heard there, listeners, day one, as soon as we got underway, Cliff, the office of the DPP, the acting DPP, Claudette Thompson, she was on her feet. And she had a slew of objections based primarily on these affidavits. And the affidavits come from the gentlemen themselves as well as relatives. And as you can imagine, they are trying to enter into the record how they feel a retrial would affect their lives.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're essentially telling or attempting to tell the justices of appeal, do not order this retrial. Too much time has passed. There's been too much publicity, and I want to stop here to highlight, because this was a particularly shocking moment where in the affidavit of Sean Campbell's sister, she alleges that online bloggers, and she names one, pretty popular, Sir P, that the sort of exposure that channel has given to these matters would mean that there is no Jamaican who has not heard and formed an opinion that would color or prejudice her brother's chance to get a fair retrial hearing. Interestingly, the judge did not accept the objection of the DPP on that score. She said she would allow the argument to stand in the affidavit, and then at a later point, the judges can decide what they place store on. Also, Cartel's son, he pleaded with the judges, essentially saying to them, look, my dad is sick, yes, and if you should subject him to a retrial, his heart, he said, it won't sustain it. It can't take that again. Don't do that to him. And he said that he watched his grandmother pray every night unceasingly for her son, Cartel, to be released. The judge did not accept any of those two pleadings. She said, on the one hand, Cartel's son is not a doctor. He's not a medical doctor, so he's not in a position to make any claim as to whether what his heart can or cannot manage. And then at the point of the grandma praying every night, Justice MacDonald Bishop essentially indicating that no, you couldn't have been there every single night to see grandma praying. So we won't accept that. And so she struck out those two claims.
How old is his son?
He should be about 19, 20 there about now, books, I think. Yeah, about that. Yeah. I think. So so she struck those two out. And then it sort of went on like that, where the DPP, the acting DPP was going line by line, paragraph by paragraph. Objecting to parts of the affidavits which she thought were argumentative. Because her claim is that in the affidavit is not the appropriate time for these men to be raising substantive arguments. And there's a part of, for example, Cartel's affidavit where he says the conditions of the prison system, that it repeatedly violated his rights, his human rights. And the acting DPP asked the judge to strike that out. The judge said no, she wouldn't strike that out because she said it would appear that the defendant is a smart man and that he understands his rights. And she said, a lot of these prisoners, what they do behind bars is that they read the law and they read the Constitution. And so she was saying that Cartel was within his right to give his assessment, essentially, of Jamaica's prison system. So that went on from 9:30 straight back till about 1:30, 2 o'clock. And that's where we wrapped with the judges saying that, look, because Andre St. John said to them, if you subject us to a retrial, there's no saying when that will happen because of the backlog that's over there in the Home Circuit Court. And when the judges inquired, what's the backlog like, the lawyers couldn't give a clear answer. And that led MacDonald Bishop to say that, all right, we will ask the registrar over there to tell us where they are in terms of the backlog. And Defense Counsel John Clark was able to say to the justices, ask them for the evidence going back 6 years. So all the cases that you sent over there for retrial going back 6 years, see where they are now.
Yes.
And you'll see the state of the justice system.
On balance, would you say the objections raised by the DPP's office were for the most part accepted or not?
No. Actually, a significant number were either abandoned because, in my estimation, abandoned. The justices didn't seem particularly patient with some of the objections, so they were abandoned. And quite a few of them were just not, they were not upheld. Some, as for example, the two from Palmer's son were thrown out, but quite a few of them not upheld at all.
Well. So next, you spoke with Alexandra Blabich.
Yes, she's a member of Cartel's legal team. So I'm trying to get from her, in terms of where the headspace of the gentleman, where that is, that the hearing has gotten underway.
Today we primarily dealt with preliminary issues as it relates to fresh evidence and the admissibility of some of the affidavits. Tomorrow we begin the substantive hearing on the matter.
Some of the information in some of the affidavits were struck out. Are you satisfied that the information that has been struck out is not in any way putting the appeal, the matter in jeopardy?
Yes, we are satisfied. And if it is that while we're making the submissions, we should take issue with any of those, I'm certain that we will raise them at the appropriate time.
Were you in contact with Mr. Palmer before the hearing started this morning?
Today?
Yes.
No, we did not have an opportunity to visit the lockups today as court began at 9:30 and usual admittance to the correctional facilities will begin at 10 a.m.
What is general state of mind as this hearing begins?
Prior to today?
Yes.
Last we spoke, all of the appellants are eager to have their matter dealt with so that the issue of their freedom can finally be determined. They're eager to return to society and to their families. So we are endeavoring to ensure that that is attainable.
As attorney, are you hopeful that this case will be successful?
Very hopeful. We have put in a lot of work and a lot of time in preparing for the matter, and we are endeavoring to put our best foot forward in representing the men and vindicating them.
Alessandra Labeach, one of the defense lawyers for Vibes Cartel. Just before we go, Ricardo, earlier you said that in one of the affidavits, the defense team said that, listen, the trial was defective.
Yes, that I think Cartel said he had been subjected to a defective process, a defective trial. The DPP's office wanted to strike that out of the affidavit, and Justice MacDonald Bishop retorted, but wasn't it defective? Isn't that what the Privy Council said? And then in a sort of defeated way, the DPP's office said yes, and
very well, milady.
Yeah, very well, and abandoned the
it wasn't a good day for the acting DPP. Was it? You know, I need to answer. 11 minutes going up to 6 o'clock. After the break, we're going to have some developments on the political scene.
Clearing personal, non-commercial shipments at the port? Avoid the wait. Request a contactless clearance through your agent today. It's more efficient. It's secure. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
10 minutes to 6.
Fast, friendly service? Check. Delicious chicken? Check. Get Quick Chick. Drive-through available at 29 Grand Spen Road. Great taste without the wait. The temperature by Quick Chick is
31 degrees Celsius here in Kingston. It's also 31 out west in Montego Bay.
We are the best at what we do. At Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, we supply hose, fittings, and tools. We guarantee we can't be beaten when price and quality are combined. You brand us the Hose and Tool Boss because we deliver the most effective industrial solutions. Come in and experience the joy of shopping with Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. Call us 876-923-3936 or visit 173 Hagley Park Road, 2 Charlesworth Crescent, or Montego Bay Trade Center. Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. More than just hoses. Now open every Sunday.
The Office of the Information Commissioner, OIC, is Jamaica's data protection regulator. We're here to ensure large and small, public and private data controllers comply with the Data Protection Act. All data controllers must register with the OIC and process personal data in accordance with the law. Help us create a data-safe society for all. For more information, call us at 876-929-6952. Visit our website at oic.gov.jm. The OIC, your data, your rights protected.
9 minutes going up to 6 o'clock. There were some political meetings on the weekend. The governing Jamaica Labour Party was in the East Rural St. Andrew constituency of the Speaker of the House, Juliet Holness. And at that meeting, the West Portland MP Daryl Vaz questioned why opposition leader Mark Golding is still holding on to his British citizenship. He was reacting, of course, to a recent Blue Dot poll which show that just over 60% of Jamaicans of the view that the PNP president should renounce his British citizenship. That poll was conducted between May 22 and June 5, and it has a margin of error of plus or minus 3.5%.
Here's Mr. Vaz.
This morning, I took up the Jamaica Observer, and I saw a poll done about dual allegiance. From May 14th, almost 6 weeks ago, this saga started, and everybody in Jamaica has been asking Marky British to pick a side. And to this date, as we stand here, Marky British has been unable and unwilling to choose Jamaica. The question is why? Unable to pick a side, why? And I say to you and to all of Jamaica tonight, anybody that has the ambition to become the Prime Minister of Jamaica, you have to be willing to put Jamaica first. Not only first, second, and third. No foreign country or foreign government should be advising you or telling you what you can do and what you cannot do. Where you can go or where you cannot go if you want to be the head of Jamaica.
Mr. Vaz says he's not surprised by the findings of the poll, which found that 64% of Jamaicans do not want a prime minister with dual citizenship.
I'm going to draw a very simple example of what I'm saying. We all know that the prime minister has been playing a very critical role on behalf of CARICOM as it relates to Haiti. We all know what our sister and brothers are going through in Haiti. And I ask yourself, and I ask you to put yourself in the same position if it wasn't Andrew Holness, but it was a British man. And there was an advisory for British citizens and nationals not to go to Haiti. How would he play the role that our Prime Minister is playing today to help our brothers and sisters? You cannot have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. I want to tell you that what upsets me most about this whole matter is the misleading, the withholding of information, and the deceitfulness. Here is a man that had to be pried in order for him 4 weeks after it became public to admit that he was of dual allegiance. I don't call it dual citizenship, you know. Dual allegiance means you pledge loyalty to more than one country. And I am saying to you and to all of Jamaica that the position is untenable. He said that he wanted to hear from the Jamaican people as to whether or not he should do the right thing. Well, we all saw the poll this morning, where 64% of those polled. And by the way, those polled are persons that are enumerated. It's not just random, because I made sure to check that out when I saw the poll this morning, because I'm a political scientist. So if it was random people, I wouldn't take it as serious as I take it now. And all I say to you is, Tom drunk, but Tom no fool. One thing for sure, and I remind you that in 2008, when the court ruled that by renewing my U.S. passport, I had pledged allegiance, the court case never finished 15 minutes, and I left from the Supreme Court straight to the embassy and turned in my U.S. citizenship. Matthew Samuda, and I give him big respect, he never waited on a court to rule, because that is something that is still out there. Once he heard the argument, he knew where he wanted to serve and where his loyalty lied. And he did what he needed to do. We need to give him a big round of applause. Not to mention all those who have already done that. And let me make the distinction that the issue of dual allegiance by the leader of the opposition and the Prime Minister is a complete different argument to whether you are in the Senate, whether you are in the Cabinet, whether you are a member of Parliament. I am talking about prospective leader and leader of our country. And there should be under no condition, there should be any dual allegiance. So I say to you tonight, since the Prime Minister is here, I'm going to tone it down and keep it short, that if Mark Golding believes that he can continue to hide from us, and 6 weeks later, still the matter is out there, the jury is out, I can tell you and assure you and assure him that it not go so. We have to hear and get a final position wherever and however it leads us to.
Daryl Vaz, the Prime Minister, the JLP leader, spoke at the meeting as well. And he told Labourites that he's not going to sink to the level of gutter politics.
The JLP must now go back to its base. The Jamaica Labour Party is not the same Jamaica Labour Party of the 80s. We are not going to sit by and allow the PNP to use false information to damage and attack the reputation of hard-working, decent Jamaicans who have given their lives, their energy to this country. I want them to understand this very well, that when I came into politics, I did not come into politics to have a resume. Politics is not a resume item for me. It is not an afterthought. I was born for politics, and I have pursued politics all my life. This is not about aggrandizement or having a title. I don't feel any sense of entitlement to anything. I am only here to serve, and I believe in the mission on which we are all together. But there are those who would want to distract us from the mission. And sometimes they are successful because sometimes even our own people end up joining the false narrative. Even our own people end up believing some of the foolishness. But you never hear me engage in an argument with nobody. No matter how them write bad article, bad editorial, fake and false news, me not answer them. It take two to have an argument, and me no in no argument with nobody. Listen to me good. You ever hear me bad mind a man for nothing yet? You ever hear me wish ill on a man ever yet? You ever hear me go down in the gutter and draw for anything for anybody yet? And one thing me have to say, and me just always live my life. If you're going to dig a pit, so me not dig pit for nobody.
Prime Minister and JLP leader Andrew Holness speaking at the constituency conference of East Road St. Andrew yesterday afternoon. Well, that's how we're going to leave it for the cover story. The headlines are next.
Cover story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Say hello to peace of mind and goodbye to worry with Guardian Life's new Ultimate Provider Plan and secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness today. Call 888-367-5433 for details.
The time by Guardian Life is
6:01.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. The Court of Appeal will request a report from the Supreme Court detailing how cases sent for retrial over the last 6 years have been dealt with. That particular issue was decided on day one of the retrial hearing of Vybz Cartel and his three co-accused, Sean Storm Campbell, Kahira Jones, and Andre St. John. Mahira Stewart reports.
The highly anticipated retrial hearing got underway promptly at 9:30 this morning. As is the norm whenever the self-styled world boss has a matter set for mention, the courtroom was packed. This led to a second room being used to accommodate the overflow of attorneys, journalists, and court staff who had gathered to read the legal tea leaves. The country's acting director of public prosecutions, Claudette Thompson, took to her feet shortly after proceedings got underway. She raised several preliminary objections to aspects of the affidavits filed by the accused men and their relatives. Two of her objections stood out. Cartel's son, Adidja Jaheim Palmer, outlined in his filing that he believed his father's heart would be unable to manage a retrial due to a medical report. Cartel, whose given name is Adidja Palmer, has faced several health scares since he was incarcerated in 2014. The young Palmer alleged in his affidavit that his grandmother prays every night for his father to be released from prison. The young Palmer alleged that his father's imprisonment has affected their family life. The DPP objected. Justice Marva MacDonald Bishop agreed in part. She struck out the parts of the youngster's affidavit that spoke to his father's medical condition. She also rejected claims of alleged prayers from Cartel's mother. According to the justice, the claims amounted to hearsay and involved matters the young Palmer had no competence to speak to. The DPP's office also attempted to object to aspects of Cartel's affidavit, claiming his human rights were being violated by terrible prison conditions in Jamaica. The judge refused to uphold those objections. The judges also threw out objections to aspects of Sean Campbell's affidavit, which criticized the coverage of the matter by untrained journalists and online bloggers. Sean Storm believes that coverage has colored public perception and has brought into question the possibility of him receiving a fair retrial. His sister also alleged in her filing that the family would be unable to find the money to mount a defense if a retrial were ordered. She says in her affidavit that the Jamaican justice system would be unable to find an impartial jury to rehear the matter. Despite the acting DPP's objections, the justices allowed those aspects of the affidavit to stand. It was the affidavit of Andre St. John that raised the issue of uncertainty as to when a retrial would be held if one were ordered. The justices inquired as to whether there was a backlog of cases sent back to the Supreme Court for retrial. Having not received a satisfactory response, Justice Marva MacDonald Bishop noted that the judges would instruct the Registrar of the Court of Appeal to find out the status of cases where retrials have been ordered. Justice MacDonald Bishop noted that the length of time it was taking for retrials to begin was material to Cartel's case. She insisted that it was the need to be fair that led her to request the report. Defense counsel advised the judges that it would be fair if they requested a report on cases going back 6 years. The retrial matter is being heard by Justices Marva MacDonald Bishop, Paulette Williams, and David Fraser. Substantive arguments will begin at 9:30 Tuesday morning. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, a member of Cartel's legal team, Alessandra LaBeach, says despite aspects of the affidavits of the accused men and their relatives being struck out, they're still confident in the case.
Yes, we are satisfied, and if it is that while we're making the submissions, we should take issue with any of those, I'm certain that we will raise them at the appropriate time.
Ms. LaBeach says Cartel and his co-accused are anxious to be freed.
As we spoke, all of the appellants are eager to have their matter dealt with so that the issue of their freedom can finally be determined. They're eager to return to society and to their families. So we are endeavoring to ensure that that is attainable.
Alessandra LaBeach, a member of Cartel's legal team. She was speaking with journalists outside the Court of Appeal on Monday. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education and Youth, Dr. Kassan Troop, says the ministry is not getting value for money after spending billions of dollars on teaching and learning resources. Dr. Troop says teachers are underutilizing the material. Dr. Troop says online material from Learning Hub and Microsoft computer software packages is among the learning resources the ministry has spent billions of dollars to procure in an effort to help teachers achieve better outcomes in the classrooms. But Dr. Troop lamented that to date, some teachers haven't even signed in to access. Let's do that again. But Dr. Troop lamented that to date, some teachers haven't even signed in to access the suite of products.
We procured learning resources for grade 4 students. The same learning hub that the rich families have access to. We went into partnership with Learning Hub and we buy licenses for all grade 4 students. 40,000 licenses, and we send them out to you every year. And teachers never cry. I am not getting value for money. You don't even open the license. We spent $89 million to get you the Microsoft 365. $89 million. I signed a new contract this year for another 89. So you can get access to the suites. And we know that some persons have not access. And we said you can download it to up to 5 devices. And you only need the internet once.
Dr. Troop was addressing a sensitization session for teachers at the Montego Bay Convention Center in Rose Hall, St. James last week. She told the gathering that the ministry has increased the number of learning and teaching resources sent to schools. She says many teachers are not using them. The permanent secretary noted that $2 billion were spent on purchasing learning material last year. She also says the same amount is being spent this year, plus an additional $1 billion to build workbooks. Dr. Troop pointed out that the e-books procured for high school teachers are also being underutilized.
High school teachers, we bought books, over 40,000 licenses for English language, mathematics, so you don't have to take the heavy book to school and into the classroom. You put it on your laptop and you don't access the books. I have to pay. We have to pay, and we cannot get back the money.
Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. Sports is next.
Touching lives every day, so many different ways, a part of all you do. Sagicor will make you feel secure, reaching out for more, we'll always see you through. Reach for more, whatever you're dreaming, whatever your goals, will help you achieve them. You're never alone, taking care of today's needs, take care of tomorrow's dreams, every day helping you succeed. That's what Sagicor means. Today's needs, tomorrow's dreams. Sagicor.
We are the best at what we do. At Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, we supply hose fittings and tools. We guarantee we can't be beaten when price and quality are combined. You brand us the Hose and Tool Boss because we deliver the most effective industrial solutions. Come in and experience the joy of shopping with Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. Call us 876-923-3936 or visit 173 Hagley Park Road, 2 Charlesworth Crescent or Montego Bay Trade Center. Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. More than just hoses. Now open every Sunday.
Does your bra ride up your back? Do your shoulders hurt from carrying the weight of your breasts? These are signs of an ill-fitting bra. When was the last time you were fitted by a bra fit specialist? The bra experts at LaBelle Femme will take care of you. Drop into the store at 53 Lady Musgrave Road, Tuesdays to Saturdays from 10 to 5, and you will see the difference. Or call 876-622-6091.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. President of the Jamaica Olympic Association, Christopher Samuda, says the snap election called by French President Emmanuel Macron could have serious consequences ahead of the Paris Olympic Games. The two-round parliamentary elections have been called for June 30 and July 7, with the Summer Games set to begin less than 3 weeks later on July 26. Samuda says it's not the best time for the people of France to go to the polls.
The Olympic Games will be the Olympic Games, come what may. But there will be risks. If party supporters become overzealous, polls are disputed, and political conversations and actions become verbal and physical abuses and even violent, then the security and safety of athletes, coaches, officials, and other stakeholders, as well as fans, will become a real concern, which will inevitably impact the Games adversely. Wrong timing for the Games, but perhaps a strategic time to politically court the electorate and to navigate political fortunes.
Samuda says the Macron administration could very well be using the Olympic Games as a distraction.
Politics and politicking must never enter sport, and without ascribing any motive. The snap elections, at the call of French President Macron, may very well give that impression of a political directorate taking advantage of a feel-good that comes with an Olympic spectacle to enhance political goodwill and to take one over the line. Or it may be the hope that it will be a distraction that will facilitate a low voter turnout, which customarily favors the incumbent party.
That's Christopher Samuda, president of the Jamaica Olympic Association. Jamaican quartermiler Nikisha Price says she surprised herself with the national record-breaking performance at the NCAA's at the Hayward Field in Eugene, Oregon at the weekend. The former Vertex star posted 48.89 seconds to win the women's 400 meters, breaking Lorraine Fenton's 22-year-old national record of 49.30. The time is also a collegiate record and was the world lead before Sydney McLaughlin replaced it at the New York Grand Prix a day later. Price's achievement helped the University of Arkansas to win the national women's title.
I was shocked. I was speechless. I
Oh,
never
word.
expected it though, but it just happened. Running with my teammates, they pushed me a lot, especially Kaylin.
Yeah.
She pushed me a lot too. So I'm just grateful.
Nikisha Price. Meanwhile, the 2022 World Under-20 200 meters champion Brianna Liston says she is beginning to fall in love with the 100 meters. Liston, who is a sophomore at Louisiana State University in the United States, finished second in her first year contesting the 100 meters at the NCAAs.
My sophomore year has been phenomenal. Not much to complain about, you know, with all the niggles and stuff, not much to complain about. So I came out here, did what I could for my team, did what I could for myself and my mental, and yeah, I am overjoyed, over elated. Like, this is truly like the biggest stage to compete on. We runner up, like last year I wasn't even in this event, so you know, you gotta take your small wins, your small blessings, and just run with them. Used to not like it at all because it was so technical, but I think I'm getting it together. Like, yeah.
She also gives a message to everyone supporting her on the journey.
Jamaica, I love y'all. Hope y'all love me back. Americans, I love you too, because y'all been supporting me. Love it, love it, love it, love it. You know, go Tigers always.
Brianna Liston. Jamaica's track and field megastar Usain Bolt has revealed that his long-term kit sponsor Puma was willing to offer him a big contract to come out of retirement 2 years after he decided to walk away from the sport. Bolt, speaking on the Ron JM podcast, said in 2019 the head of Puma, Bjorn Guljan, who is now in charge of the rival brand Adidas, told him they would put up a big money for him to make a return.
The CEO at the time, he's with Adidas now, but at the time he was like, listen, we'll give you a proper contract if you want to come back and run.
How long ago was that?
It was like 2 years after I retired.
Okay.
I was like, you know what, I would do it, because when you go away from the sport, then you start missing it. That means I'm like, yo, I think I might can do it again.
Bolt, who is arguably the greatest sprinter of all time, says he did give it some thought, but his legendary coach Glenn Mills shut down the idea.
I talked to my coach. My coach was like, absolutely not. But my coach told me, he said to me, listen, if you're going to retire, that's it. I'm not going to coach you again. This is it. There's no coming back after this. So when I went to him, he was like, no, absolutely not.
Usain Bolt, who won 8 individual Olympic gold medals over an illustrious 14-year professional career, retired from the sport in 2017 at the World Outdoor Championships in London. He currently holds the world records in the men's 100 and 200 meters, and he was part of the crack Jamaican teams that twice broke the 4x100 meters world record. St. Thomas, they were crowned champions of the JTA Sagicor Primary Schools Championships at the National Stadium at the weekend. The Eastern-based St. Thomas won with 261 points. The dethroned champions, St. Elizabeth, they finished with 238, and the St. Andrew team was third, 230. St. Catherine, 216.5, finished fourth. Portland rounding out the top 5 with 117.5 points. Technical director of the St. Thomas team, Andre Anderson, says strong alliance amongst the various schools contributed to the win.
You have the parish coordinator, and from the parish coordinator you have, in our parish we have 4 days. So from each day has a sports coordinator. Now through communication via the sports coordinators, because the sports coordinator reach each school within their day, and I think we have 46 schools across the parish, which falls within the biggest day is Blue Mountain Valley. So at different periods of the month, each day would have a sports day. From that sports day, we select a team for each day. Then we bring those persons together for the parish combination, and out of the parish comes the national parish team.
That's Andre Anderson. South Africa maintained their 100% record at the ICC T20 World Cup thanks to a tense 4-run win over Bangladesh in their Group D encounter in New York City today. Bangladesh, they were set 114 to win, but could only manage 109 for 7 in their 20 overs despite being gifted a few opportunities to get over the line. Howdy Hidroy led the way with 37, Mamadula made 20, Kavish Maharaj ended with 3 for 27, Khadija Rabada 2 for 19, and Eindrik Norke 2 for 17. Earlier, South Africa, they were restricted to 113 for 6 in their 20 overs. Heinrich Klaassen top scored with 46, David Miller on his 35th birthday made 28, and Quinton de Kock made 18. Tanzim Hassan Saqib was impressive. He bagged the 3 for 18, while Taskin Ahmed grabbed the 2 for 19. The Springboks will leave the U.S. with 3 wins from as many stars as they head to the Caribbean to take on Nepal in St. Vincent in their final group game and in pole position to book their spot in the Super 8s. Bangladesh also heads to the Caribbean to face the Netherlands and Nepal, with a Super 8 spot still in sight for them as well. It is more than 2 weeks since Erik ten Hag's Manchester United beat Manchester City in the FA Cup final billed as potentially his last game. United Chiefs launched a review into the club's season following that surprise win over their City rivals, yet there's still no decision about the Dutchman's future. The build-up to the game was dominated by talks of manager Ten Hag's chances of keeping his job. Some went as far as to state that Ten Hag would be sacked no matter what the outcome at Wembley, saying the Dutchman would pay the price for a terrible season in which United finished 8th, the worst performance since the 1989-90 campaign when Sir Alex Ferguson came close to losing his job. Ten Hag stood his ground and in an interview in the Netherlands said he had been told new co-owners Ineos wanted to rebuild the club with him. It turned out that assessment was a bit of a stretch for the Dutchman. Ten Hag was reflecting his impression of a number of previous conversations with Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Sir David Brailsford and Jason Wilcox, the Ineos team initially responsible for running the football side at Old Trafford following the change of ownership. In reality, United were committed to a full review at the end of the season with the manager's future seen as part of that process. That's sports. All right, before we go, though, we have the nationwide Olympic fact, and it's sponsored by Rainforest Caribbean.
This is Nationwide's Olympic Facts, brought to you by Rainforest Caribbean. Make delicious moments.
Did you know that the Olympic torch is a reminder of the game's Greek origins? Yes, that's a fact. In ancient times, a flame burned throughout the games as a tribute to the goddess Hestia. Since 1928, this tradition has continued in the modern games, but instead of an altar, the flame burns in a special torch. The torch flame is always lit by the sun in Olympia, Greece, as this is where the first Greek games was held. Then it's passed from torch to torch in a massive international relay that ends in the host city.
That was Nationwide's Olympic Facts, brought to you by Rainforest Caribbean. Make delicious moments.
That's sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:20.
Make we keep Jamaica clean. Me as if we keep Jamaica clean. Keep Jamaica clean. Our duty to keep our island clean. Mobile to Kingston, sidewalk and beach. Bag it, bin it, recycle it, please. Proper garbage disposal, make we do it. Keep Jamaica clean. Keep Jamaica. A message from the National Solid Waste Management Authority.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, is a financial reporting firm that delivers accounting and compliance services on time. Call us today at 876-908-0486-7. Email us at clientservices@cocnjamaica.com or visit our website at www.cocnjamaica.com. COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
Drive Hyundai vehicles beyond your dreams with an exclusive 5.99% interest rate. Yes, shop Hyundai vehicles and get a super low 5.99% interest rate on your car loan. Plus 2 years free service, 1 year insurance, and 5 years warranty. Offer valid on all 2024 Hyundai vehicles. Drive your Hyundai with the lowest interest, 5.99%. Conditions apply.
To seize opportunities on your business horizon, you need tailored financing solutions from a partner that takes the time to understand your business. Sagicor Investments. We offer mid-sized to large corporations the debt and equity financing solutions they need to drive growth. Backed by the strength of Sagicor Group, one of the largest financial conglomerates in the region, you can be confident that we will deliver. Make your business move with Sagicor Investments. Contact our capital markets unit at 888 Sagicor.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Roby Ann Williams. It's a Monday evening, the start of the week. A special good evening to our friends on our YouTube platform. Thank you so much for tuning in. You know, we're asking you to weigh in live in the comments section on today's Public Opinion. And it's one that has to do with members of the public. Several videos have been posted to social media by bus and taxi operators showing the effect of the withdrawal of service by some of their colleagues. Now, this is in light of what the operators say is an unjust demerit points regime. They say they are working under the threat of having their licenses suspended if they accumulate 10 or more demerit points. The videos show several taxis parked in places such as Flanker in St. James, Portmore in St. Catherine, and Halfway Tree in St. Andrew. Now, in Halfway Tree, the video shows scores of commuters, including students, left stranded at the Spencer James car park right behind Mandela Park and at the Red Hills Road taxi stand.
Yeah, the man, them copy say Halfway Tree there, right at the Red Hills Road stand. See there, people stand up, can't go work, can't go school. Look on the time. So 1 and 2 cars still stand up there about them a load. Yeah, man, Halfway Tree standing.
In Flanker, a taxi operator says the decision to withdraw services is a show of solidarity.
I Flanker team in solidarity. See real taxi driver them, yeah. Yeah, man. Real taxi driver them. I see them we park up down here, so. See there? Yeah, man. Solidarity. Yeah, man, we have to support. You see me? See me, we are not fool. We are fighting soldier. We are bad slave. We park up outside on the background.
Okay, that was a taxi operator in Flanker, and before him, one in Halfway Tree. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz, well, he has been pleading for calm. He sent out a message on Sunday telling the operators in the transport sector that a meeting will be held this week with stakeholders to resolve the issue surrounding the demerit points system. So, in Public Opinion today, we're asking, were you affected by today's taxi strike?
No, at this moment, no.
No, not at all. Anybody do nothing? Them do nothing? Nobody not do nothing. Nobody not do nothing.
Nope.
I don't know. I just think that is so funny. It's just funny. Just caught everyone.
All right. Thank you so much for those comments. If you're just joining us, we're inside the Court of Public Opinion, and we're asking, were you affected by today's taxi strike? I can recall passing a taxi stand where, you know, it's usually them a run down people for going at them taxi. Yeah. And a haul and pull people for going at them taxi. Well, today it was a different picture. They were vibing to music. You know, the man them stand up still. They were well, no, they didn't stand still, but they were at this taxi stand, not loading or anything, and loud music, of course, and, you know, they were drinking and vibing. I was like, look at that. All right, so let's get to the comments on our social media platform. We'll start on X. AstraZen says, yes, I work outside Spanish Town and live in 11 miles Bull Bay. Had major challenges because I missed the 6 a.m. 22A to Spanish Town. Not leaving work until 6 and no idea what time I'll reach home. Susan Hay says, yes, less unruly drivers on the road. Striker is saying no, but many of my co-workers were. Dizzle, the day I'm affected by anything taximen do is the day I know I've made some seriously bad life choices. Well, to each his own. In my words says, yes, felt much safer on the roads. Wow, okay. Let me see if I can go to the comments on Facebook. Andrew Freighter says, not really. The law should remain. None of the offenses that carry demerit points is designed for taxi operators. It affects every motorist. The law finally has teeth and is now biting. All right. Philip Jackson is questioning. Why these operators, his words now, why these operators of mass destruction won't conform to law and order? If they have an issue, just have a proper approach in the way to address it. What decency is not a part of what they do? Just hustling mentality? All right, those are the words coming from Philip Jackson. Stephen DaCosta says, yes, I was affected. The road was orderly and less cars on the road. And he's begging them for go on with it for a month. Listen, Stephen DaCosta, some commuters would disagree with you, especially the ones who were stranded. I recall earlier seeing a video. I'm not sure if it was in Halfway Tree or some other parts across the country where I saw a transport authority bus assisting commuters to get where they want to. And I was like, wow. Barry Black says, I was affected in a good way. The roads were orderly. The government should find a permanent way of removing them. Barry Blacks, may I tell you, people would disagree with you. Maureen Bryan says, not at all. I traveled in a nice, cool JUTC bus to work. And I must tell you, while the taxis were at the stands, I saw, in Portmore, JUTC buses like ants. They were all over. At one point, I saw several going in one direction, going in Halfway Tree. And I was like, wow, would you look at that? CJ says, not at all, wasn't affected. Those fighting against the government lost. Wellesley Cunningham says, I didn't leave my house today. Well, good for you, Wesley. Pamela Bennett says no. Ricardo Portier says no. Natalie Winter says she also stayed home today. Rosalind Buck, these taxi men are disgusting because Jamaica does have a good public bus system. She's saying Jamaica does have a good public bus system. Jamaicans are subject. Oh, it doesn't. Jamaicans are subject to these bullies. Michael John says, I wish that they stay out for a month or so. It's just a pity the government can't flood the country with only JUTC buses. All right, a lot of differing views coming in on this one. Were you affected by today's taxi strike? On Instagram, Colleen says, nope, them can't steal. Less hassle on the road. Don't have to clutch my invisible pearls and run up my pressure. One thing, you see when you're taking the public transportation like these taxis and sometimes buses, coaster buses, them a haul and pull you, Me not understand. Like, how? Why? Jet Slate says, what strike? He's questioning what strike? The government detractors had no success today. Original says, smoother traveling, no wild driving taxis. Oh boy. All right. Let me see if I can get through to some comments quickly on our YouTube platform. Let me give it some time. All right, let me see if I can get in someone. Good evening to you, Paul Peart. How you do? I hope the week started off well for you. Let me see. Richard says, them have money. Marlene P said, taxi strike today was a big flop. And Richard says, eating food enough. Kingsley Graham says, New Kingston, I get taxi. Jaja said they knew how many points not to get. They are unruly and don't care. All right. Cynthia Matheson says, generally speaking, Montego Bay was okay. I came home in an air-conditioned minibus. Indeed. Some schools, they opted for the online modality. They said that due to the threats of the strike, they opted for the online platform. They use the online platform today, some schools, because I saw several videos of students being left stranded and other commuters being stranded for work. Marlene Wright says, late and order was a great day. Bev Thompson says, hope they stay off forever. Robbie Houghton says the roads were safer today. Wow. Evelyn Jackson says, please take the taxis that work today, tomorrow, and leave those that were enjoying themselves today. Continue tomorrow. Yeah, man, some of the taxi operators, they weren't necessarily in agreement with the stop work, They weren't in agreement none at all with the stop work, and several chose to, run their taxis nonetheless. Douglas Rogers says, I wasn't affected, but you just strike for razor fare, but now you're striking because of points that you can avoid. Let me see. Let me see if I can get in. Delano Percy says, Eastern Parish, St. Mary, St. Thomas, and Portland, the hurricane season has started. Yes, well, of course. And he's warning, all right, Delano Percy, warning to beware of flooding, especially in those areas. Well, thank you so much for that warning, Delano Percy. That's all the time we have for public opinion. We do hope, that all of this is sorted, because we don't like the chaos. We like togetherness and cohesiveness. We like things working out accordingly. So let's hope, following this meeting that is scheduled for this week with the Minister and Transport Operators, we will have a favorable outcome, especially for commuters who were left stranded today. Thank you guys so much for participating. That's all the time we have for public opinion, but do stay tuned for the business report.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, industrial automation and control solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:35.
Don't let poor vision hold your children back. IQ Optical gives complimentary standard reflection-free lenses to children and teachers until May 31. Conditions apply.
The temperature by IQ Optical is
30 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 31 out west in Montego Bay. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Jamaica's total spending on imports for January 2024 increased by 16.4% to that's $689.5 million US dollars, while earnings from total exports were valued at $157.1 million US dollars. Now, this is according to the latest information from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica. The country spent $592.3 million US dollars on imports in January 2023. Statin said this increase was largely attributable to rises in imports of fuels and lubricants, capital goods excluding motor cars, transport equipment, and consumer goods. Meanwhile, the total exports for the first month of 2024 were 15.2% below the $185.2 million US dollars earned in the same period in 2023. This decline was primarily due to a decrease in the value of exports of mineral fuels. Jamaica's 5 main trading partners during the period were the United States of America, Brazil, China, Colombia, and Japan. The top 5 destinations for Jamaica's exports were the U.S., Iceland, the Russian Federation, Puerto Rico, and the United Kingdom. And in the currency markets, at the close of trading today, it cost 156 Jamaican dollars and 40 cents to buy 1 US dollar, 199 Jamaican dollars and 35 cents to buy 1 British pound, and 115 Jamaican dollars and 5 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. And that's the business report. I'm Robianne Williams. Good evening.
Nationwide 90 FM is at it again. Team Revolution will clear every hurdle and sprint to the finish line as we cover the games of the 33rd Olympiad from Paris, the city of love.
Winning by daylight and setting a world record, 9.68. The wind is okay.
Nationwide's coverage is powered by our diamond sponsor, KFC. It's finger-licking good across all locations island-wide.
My Mega Mile.
much to do in one location, make Megamart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills. Fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy. All in one amazing location. My Megamart, the best value by far.
Celebrate with the KYMCA, whose 104th anniversary is this week. Activities commence on June 9 with worship hosted by Bethel Baptist Halfway Tree at 10 a.m. Then join them for opening day on Wednesday, June 12, showcasing the Y School program activities and summer camp registration. Then a family games night on Friday starting at 5:30 p.m. The week climaxes with a swimathon fundraiser Saturday at 7 a.m. and homecoming banquet in the evening, including an art auction and honoring past leaders. That's the KYMCA 104th anniversary, June 9 to 15, 2024.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
How certain are you that you're taking proper care of your pets? How often do you take them to the vet? Just as we need annual checkups with our doctors, most pets need regular checkups too. Owning and caring for a family pet doesn't have to be a difficult or burdensome experience. Nationwide 90 FM has an exciting feature called Pets World that will help you take better care of your pets. Join Nationwide 90 FM every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning as we take you into the do's and don'ts of caring for your pets. That's Pets World every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Experience Jamaica's Olympic triumphs in Jamaica Gold, a golden spotlight.
Brought to you by Horton's Pharmacy. Horton's RX Pack for better medication management.
Jamaica's third gold medal at the Olympic Games came in the men's 4x400 meters relay final at the 1952 Olympics in Helsinki. The quartet of Arthur Wint, Leslie Lang, Herb McKinley, and George Roden won the final and in the process broke the 20-year-old world record with a time of 3 minutes 03.9 seconds. McKinley's third leg of 44.6 seconds, credited with pulling Jamaica into contention from 10 meters back, is considered one of the greatest relay legs in history. On the last leg, George Roden, the 400 meters champion, and USA's Mal Whitfield, the 800 meters champion, ran virtually shoulder to shoulder, but Roden was able to keep the lead and beat Whitfield by a yard. This gave McKinley his first and only Olympic gold medal.
You just experienced a Jamaican Olympic triumph in Jamaica Gold, a golden spotlight.
Brought to you by Horton's Pharmacy. Horton's RX Pack for better medication management.
Chewy flavor with delight. It really, really nice. May I say it twice?
The time by Jamaica Mountain Peak Golden Turmeric Latte is...
It's 6:42. Good evening. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the nation's business. Now, several videos have been posted to social media by bus and taxi operators showing the effect of the withdrawal of service by some of their colleagues. This in light of what the operators say is an unjust demerit points regime. The Transport Minister Darrell Vaz pleaded for calm in a message on Sunday, telling players in the transport sector that a meeting will be held this week with stakeholders to resolve the issue surrounding the demerit point system.
But some operators ignored that plea in the face of what they say is an unjust system. They say they're working under the threat of having their licenses suspended if they accumulate 10 or more demerit points on their licenses. The videos show several taxis parked in places such as Flanker in St. James, Portmore in St. Catherine, and Halfway Tree in St. Andrew.
My flanker team in solidarity. See real taxi driver them, yeah. Yeah, man. Real taxi driver them. I see them we park up down here, so See it there? Yeah, man, solidarity. Yeah, man, we have to support. You see me? See me here, we are not no fool. We are fighting soldier, we are bad slave. See it there? Solidarity. See it there? See it there? See it there? Solidarity. Yeah, man, I flank a crew this man. Outside on the background. Yeah, man. Solidarity, we have to support.
Yeah, the man, them copy say half a team there, right at the radio zone stand. See it there? People stand up, can't go work, can't go school. Look on the time. So 1 and 2 cars still stand up there about them a load. Yeah, man, half a tree standing. But see a white plate a drive up there.
Watch out now, team members, support more. Yeah, that right through, support more. We are all out, right through, see it there? Whole block, flood out, we are fine, we are all out. Yeah, man, a young grass, you see me? All the way all out, CVM there, everybody there, young grass there, the whole works there. See the transport over there, so. See it there?
Taxi operators on the road this morning trying to whip up support for their withdrawal of service.
Now, speaking on Nationwide this morning, President of the National Council of Taxi Associations, Dion Chance, said while he agrees with the concerns the operators have raised, the strike is premature. But some taxi association presidents agree with their members that the demerit system as it stands is flawed. To discuss further, we're being joined by President of All Voice Taxi Association, Lorraine Finnegan, Head of the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, ACP Gary McKenzie, and Director General of the Road Traffic and the Island Traffic Authority, Colonel Daniel Price. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. Let me begin with you, ACP Gary McKenzie. What was it like across the island today with the withdrawal of service?
Well, certainly the withdrawal of service affected how commuters could move from one place to another. I think that is where it affected the country in general the most. In some instances, there were some of the persons who feel that the withdrawal alone was not enough and attempted to cause obstruction and to set up illegal roadblocks and so on. The police responded, and we have been able to get decent and law-abiding citizens moving from one place to another without significant delays.
And are you anticipating, ACP, that this will continue into tomorrow?
Well, I would hope that the challenge as it relates to what we have experienced today does not continue. I know that there are discussions within several quarters in relation to what the concerns are, and I believe that dialogue is the best way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Colonel Price, let me bring your attention now to
Could we get from Mr. Finnegan? Mr. Finnegan?
I'm here.
Yes. Do you anticipate that the withdrawal of service will continue tomorrow?
From all indication, so far at this minute, it will continue.
Why?
All right, I have been having continuous communication with the organizers of the strike and also individual investors and operators. And up to 5 p.m. this evening, the indication I'm getting from them is that they are prepared to continue until they get a favorable response from the power that being. I want to make something clear that I have not heard coming out throughout the day from all the interviews that have been done by the various media houses and leaders within the sector. This withdrawal of service, and I repeat, this withdrawal of service was not called by any association, any transportation group or any leaders within the sector. And I can.
So who called it then?
It was called by a group of concerned operators and investors based on an announcement 2 weeks ago that drive fears within the operators and investors. And those persons that call it were able to spread the news around across the 14 parishes that have, in my word, ignite other operators and investors across Jamaica to catch on to it. What came out 2 weeks ago was an announcement of the resumption of suspension of driver's license on the 1st of June. And that drive a sense of fear within the sector. There are several leaders that were contacted by the investors and operators on their position of withdrawal of service, and those leaders have indicated that they are not for a withdrawal of service. When I was contacted, I said to them the very same thing. I am not for a withdrawal of service at this time. I was asked what is my position. I said, let us go through consultation. They asked me with who, and I mentioned the following names. Mr. Ralston Simit, not in the position as MD at Transport Authority, but in the position as chairman of the steering committee. The head of P-STEP, Mr. Gary Mackenzie. The head of the director of Island Traffic Authority, Mr. Daniel Price. And the engagement committee that report directly to the Prime Minister. And they say to me, Mr. Finnegan, if you can do that on our behalf, when can you start? I said, I can start now. I was in St. Elizabeth at the time. Immediately I went on the phone, contact these 4 agencies, and the response was in the positive. In fact, the engagement committee wanted to meet with us the very same Wednesday, and I told them where I was. We had 3 meetings the Thursday. First start with Mr. Ralston Simit. The second one with the engagement committee at the Terranova Hotel. And the third one, we met with leaders within the sector, some operators, some investors at Chelsea Jerk Center. Mr. Price said to me in the meeting, he joined the meeting on the phone, when can he get a submission from us? I say Monday, which would have been the 3rd of June. Mr. Price, exact word, Mr. Finnegan, are you joking? He need the submission the very Thursday. We couldn't get it done. We work on it until 12 o'clock Thursday night. I personally send it off for correction, omission, addition. Get it to the printer Friday morning, the printery. And by 11 o'clock, I have it emailed to all the persons that I've just mentioned. Now, Saturday morning, they called me that they want to set up a press conference. I said, no. Under no circumstances we could deliver a submission less than 24 hours ago and then going to be calling a press conference at Halfway Tree Primary School. So I was able to convince them not to go for press conference. But by Sunday, they called me again and said, Mr. Finnegan, we need to go to the media. And I said, no. The submission was submitted Friday morning, 11 o'clock. Saturday and Sunday are weekend. Monday is preparation for cabinet meeting. Tuesday is preparation for sectoral debate. So let us wait until Wednesday. They say, okay. So by Tuesday, we got a response that there will be a meeting on Wednesday at the Transportation Center. We went to the meeting in good faith. And there are 3 things that had fuel to the fire. And the 3 things are, when the concern were raised in that meeting, the response was, 1, we need to challenge these concerns that we have in the court. Now, it infuriates the operators and investors on the basis that we thought we were going to the relevant agencies of government to listen to the concern that we have submitted on a 5-page document to them. And then we were being told that we have to challenge it to the court. The second thing that had fuel to the fire is that we were told that, remember now, you are indisciplined and you are operating illegally. And the third thing is, there are 5 items in the submission that has to do with electrical defects, which all of them carry between 2 and 4 demerit points. And we were told at that meeting that we must service our vehicle. Coming out of that meeting, we passed on the information, and the investors and operators felt bad about it. So they decided that they're going ahead with the withdrawal of service. Friday morning at 4:30 a.m., I called 3 executive members of my organization, and I said to them, talk to the people who are organizing the withdrawal of service and ask them if they will hold on until I seek further consultation. The response was, yes, Mr. Finnegan, go ahead. At 6:46, I send out 4 messages. One to the MD at Transport Authority, one to Mr. Gary McKenzie, one to Mr. Daniel Price, one to the person in charge of the engagement committee. By 7 o'clock, Mr. McKenzie responded. He offers us a meeting at 3 p.m. tomorrow, Tuesday, at his office. Within short order, the MB responded, yes, Mr. Finnegan, I'm willing to meet with the team again. Later in the evening, Mr. Daniel Price responded, yes, Mr. Finnegan, I'm going to set up the meeting and inform you. Late in the night, one of the persons from the engagement committee responded and said, the chairman is off the island, but as he come, we will get in touch with you. I passed on that information to the team that organizing the withdrawal of service, and they said to me, yes, Mr. Finnegan, we'll wait. And by Sunday, I heard that they have gone into full gear planning for the withdrawal on Monday.
All right, hold it there for me. Let me ask now, Colonel Price, because it seems that the threat of the suspension of the license to come, fueled by the demerit system under the new Road Traffic Act, is a central part of what's the problem here. They say it's unfair and it's unjust in terms of how it's structured. To the untrained eye, there are questions. Some of the fines don't seem to correspond with the points that are recommended to be subtracted. So, do they have a point? Is this arbitrary, unfair, and unjust?
Thank you. Let me apologize for my voice. I'm having an attack of sinuses. The sinuses are misbehaving at the moment. The group that met at the transport center, as Mr. Finnegan spoke about, raised some very good concerns. We, having heard those concerns, indicated to them that we would send the concerns up the chain and seek to treat with it. The following day, the Honorable Minister caused a meeting to be held to look at this, these issues and concerns that they had. Come tomorrow, there's a meeting that would involve the chairman of the Transport Authority, the managing director, Mr. Gary McKenzie, ACP Gary McKenzie, and myself, to look on the 6th schedule. And that is with a view of making recommendations if necessary. So we are not we are not um, we're not estranged from what is happening, and you would find that when a piece of legislation is made, there would be amendments over time. I'm just appealing to these taxi operators and investors to exercise patience and allow us to treat with the dialogue that they have started and that they have been candid and forthright about. And so we would like for the process to continue.
You want more time, but while you go through the process, what of the threat of the suspension of licenses? Does that still stand while you work through the process?
Well, suspension of license had been happening. You know, the courts were suspending license. So I don't understand why there is this unnecessary concern about the demerit point.
But Colonel Price, is it unnecessary if you acknowledge and you can see that this thing needs to be reviewed? The taxi operators are saying it needs to be reviewed, and you're suspending our licenses under something that they are saying is arbitrary, and you seem to be conceding that it needs to be and a look needs to be taken at it.
Well, I could not sit here and agree that it is arbitrary, because this was the Road Traffic Act was the result of several hours and days and months of consultation. And so to use arbitrary is injudicious. But yes, there are concerns, and things do not happen overnight. This act took several years to get to the point of it being passed. And so I'm appealing to the taxi operators and investors to exercise some patience and allow us to treat with their concerns.
ACP Mackenzie, help us. Is it that the police and the traffic authority inspectors are becoming more diligent, aggressive in imposing the law here, the regulations here, in the suspension of licenses?
Right. So, please, I would not say that we are becoming more aggressive. As for our responsibility, it is for us to ensure that public order and lawfulness on the road and in public places are sustained. We are aware of some of the concerns, as was mentioned. Some of them have merit. However, we all know that when there is disorder, there's an outcry for law enforcement to ensure that they do what they have been sworn to do. And so we do our best to make that happen. If there are concerns for which it has come to the fore that there are concerns for which they have to be addressed, then we are supportive of the measures that will address them in a legal and correct way.
Your men ACP have been accused of sort of using the ticket using the ticket system as some kind of weapon. Yes, that you're issuing, to Cliff's original question, you're issuing way more tickets, and you're doing it in such a way that it really is just to bolster the government's coffers. You're saying that's not true?
That can't be true when persons, within the media, the citizens of Jamaica, and many other persons are actually crying out for the police to do more as it relates to enforcement, as it relates to ensuring public order and discipline on our streets. In fact, there is the sentiment in some quarters that we are not doing enough.
Yes.
So we have to take the appropriate measures for which we have to take. And of course, there has been a lot of discretion which has been meted out to taxi and bus operators for which they themselves have agreed in some areas. But that is not to say that in other areas where they have concern, there is not some merit to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Colonel Price, the section 109 or part 109 of the schedule of offences, operating motor vehicles specified in regulation 259.1, in time when motor vehicle cannot be clearly discerned at a distance of 150 meters. The fine 500,000 but no demerit point. Is that accurate, or is there a typo there?
That's what section?
Section 109, operating motor vehicles specified in regulation 259.1, in time when motor vehicle cannot be clearly discerned at a distance of 150 meters. The fine here is
that is what's in the law. However,
$500,000, $500,000, but no demerit point.
Like I said before.
No, why I'm asking,
Colonel.
Why I'm asking because when I read this earlier today, I was told, yes, that this was a typo and it was supposed to be $50,000, and that's what I'm asking you to confirm for me.
I am not in a position to say yay or nay to that because.
Can you help me, ACP? With this?
I am the new kid on the block.
Okay.
I was not around.
All right. Okay, Colonel. ACP, is that accurate? 500,000 or 50,000?
One of the things, Cliff, is that there have been several sections of the Act and regulations that have been earmarked already for review based on what you have just said in terms of suspicion, in terms of discrepancy and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one of them. So it is not one of the offenses that we are prosecuting persons for.
Oh, you're not?
No, we are not.
So you're not clear if it's 500,000 or 50,000?
Well, as I said before, I mean, we do not write the law, but based on the fact that we found that out and it was pointed out very early, it is one of the list of sections, and there are several sections to include the use of child restraint system in PPV.
Mm-hmm.
We are on hold with some of the offenses akin to driver instructors and so on. So there are a list of offenses that we have not been prosecuting for.
Yes. Mr. Finnegan, can you confirm that?
Yeah, there are a list of offenses that we are not being prosecuted for, one. And two is, I must make it abundantly clear that ACP Mackenzie has been very accommodating to the public transportation sector as it relates to the way we have been operating, especially in the town centers and within the KMTR. However, we are not getting that type of responses from the younger officers that come out. And I've pointed out in steering committee meetings, I have not gotten any report from senior officers out there that the operators and investors are having problem with. But to make it clear is that there are a number of areas that we presently operating in and operating on that if the law was supposed to be enforced, there will be no taxes in the corporate area. So it must be known that the authority as it relates to speed step has been very lenient in a number of cases and very accommodating. But also, the submission that we submitted, even though we have concerned Mr. Hughes and some of the high fines and the merit points, we have not put those into the submission. What we put into this 5-page submission is those offenses that are unavoidable. So when I met with the team, they said, Mr. Finnegan, in fact, we recommend in the submission last week, Wednesday, that anybody who exceeds the speed limit by 30 kilo, his license must be immediately be suspended. We are not asking for the offenses to be moved from the Road Traffic Act. We are asking that these 15 offenses that we have no control over, we can't avoid them once you drive a PPV vehicle. remove the demerit points.
For example, give me one or
For
two of those.
example, a defective headlight, there is no indication that your light's going.
Yeah, that's an electrical thing, can go any minute.
And every auto parts place have a big sign. We do not refund or replace electrical parts. The fine for a defective headlight is 5,000 for demerit points. All the other lights are 5,000 2 demerit points. We are not asking in our submission to remove those fines. We are asking remove the demerit points, 1. And 2 is give us a citation 24 hours to have it fixed. The other one that we look at is if we stop at the bus stop, it's 10,000 because we are not legal to stop at a bus stop. We are supposed to be stopped in 40 feet from the bus stop. But 40 feet from the bus stop is yellow painting. The fine is 6,000. The demerit point is 3 points. We are saying, because we don't have no choice, we have to stop somewhere to let off the passenger. We will contend with the 6,000, but remove the demerit
So
point.
hold on. ACP, is that true? If they stop at the bus stop, that is illegal? So where are they
It
to
is
stop?
legal.
Huh? Where are they to stop?
The bus, there's nowhere in the corporate area that is designated.
Hold on, I
The
asked.
route-
That's why I'm asking the ACP.
Oh, sorry. My apology.
ACP, where are they to stop then?
Right. So I hear Mr. Finnegan with the argument that if they stop at the bus stop and sit down, that there is a ticket. And during the discussion, I really actually asked for some type of evidence for that, because one of the things that I try to explain is that there are a number of the bus stops that some of the taxi operators, what they do, please, gentlemen, is to seek to terminate there. And that is what we are against, because those bus stops are actually fluid territory. And that is one of the things that we have raised. And if you look, for example, at New Kingston, at Clock Tower Plaza, and so on, there is the tendency to do that. And that is one of the things that we say cannot happen, because when other large buses come to set down persons, then they have to stop alongside these vehicles and obstruct traffic. And so that is one of the things that...
So it's not that they can't stop there, it's that they should not terminate there and park there.
That is so.
Mr. Finnegan, that is not the same thing what you tell me.
No, that's not so. The Road Traffic Act is clear. Stopping at a bus stop is 10,000, not stopping and loading. Mr. Mackenzie is correct in what he's saying, because I have seen it, and he has said to us that he has instructed his men, if they stop at the bus stop, and he was referring specifically at that meeting about New Kingston, if they stop, drop off, pick up and move, be lenient with them. But if they stop to load, you're going to have to ticket them. And we must accept that.
Okay.
Right.
Big difference.
But what I am speaking about is you stop at the bus stop, not to load, not to linger, just to drop off. I give you a personal example. One of my executive members, who is a PPV driver, was taking me to a meeting downtown. And he stopped at a bus stop on Mountain View. The Hilux police vehicle came down and said, "Sir, you cannot stop there." He immediately moved, but he stopped a little from the bus stop, and the Hilux drove down and tell him that you still cannot stop here because it is a yellow line. What saved him from 2 tickets or 1 ticket is that the police driving the Hilux was lenient enough to tell him that you would have been breaking 2 laws. So move on to a more convenient place. So while Mr. Mackenzie is correct, Mr. Hughes, and I must make it abundantly clear, he has given his officers instruction, if they stop their load, causing congestion, ticket them. If they stop there, drop off and pick up. And we don't want to have the license that we have and have to be operating under the discretion or the leniency of the officers. So it is clear in the Road Traffic Act. Stop at the bus stop, 10,000. stop 40 feet from the bus stop. That is what the law says you must do.
All right,
40
gentlemen,
feet is a yellow line.
hold on, gentlemen, we're out of time. So tomorrow, Colonel Price, a crucial day.
Colonel?
It is indeed. It is indeed. Tomorrow we will meet. We will review that section of the law that deals with the demerit points, and we will make recommendations. Because one, I think, Chris, there are initiatives right now that's looking, as Gary said, on parts of the act that need to be corrected. And so I can say to the taxi drivers, rest assured that the group of persons that this minister has put together to do it is competent so to do, and we have the best interests of the country and the operators at heart.
Thank you, sir.
Lorraine Finnegan, ACP Gary McKenzie, Colonel Daniel Price. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Take the break and come back with more.
The mission of the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs includes revising Jamaica's legal and constitutional infrastructure and accelerating the pace of reform. The time by the MLCA is
14 minutes after 7.
Join the National Blood Transfusion Service and the Ministry of Health and Wellness on June 14 for World Blood Donor Day.
Every blood donation helps save at least 3 lives, so wear red and donate at any blood collection center island-wide.
Follow the Blood Bank and the Ministry of Health and Wellness on our social media pages at One Blood Bank JA and at the MOHWGOVJM.
World Blood Donor Day.
Blood is life-giving and life-changing. A message from the National Blood Transfusion Service, an entity of the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Plan your tomorrow today. Introducing JMMB's Hello Future Retirement Planning website. Figure out how much you'll need to be set for life with our calculated tools and tips at your fingertips. Visit hellofuture.jmmb.com and start your journey to your dream retirement today. Conditions apply.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales for a better choice in the electrical business.
Azen Super Center in Midtown Crossroads, a place you've come to know and trust for quality and the best prices. Now, come see our expanded range of products, fine furnishings, kitchenware, your smart TVs, and all things electronics, and the latest in curtains, bed linen, and bathroom accessories. It's the new and expanded Azen Super Center in Midtown Crossroads with convenient, safe, and free parking. Shop with a smile at Azen Super Center.
Building wealth the smart way means you have a clear mission for your money. Specific and measurable means defining the reason for your financial goals. Achievable and realistic means keeping those goals meaningful, yet attainable. Think more retirement, less world's richest. Timely means keeping a time frame in mind so that all efforts remain focused.
Visit barita.com/opportunities for more growth coach insights.
The Watchman, exploring issues shaping our society, government, and business. Provocative, unconventional, Dr. Henley Morgan is The Watchman.
Good evening. Jamaica political representation and the Barniaf syndrome. Simple research via the internet reveals there are several countries where a person with a second passport, meaning he or she has citizenship in 2 countries, can become president or prime minister. To use the original language, Latin, countries typically extended citizenship based on the principle of jus sanguinis, meaning by blood, that is, by one or both parents, but most commonly the father. Or jus soli, meaning based on where one was born. Almost all countries apply a combination of both principles to a greater or lesser degree. Great Britain, for example, has had several members of parliament, MPs, who hold dual citizenship. Quoting from a credible online source, since the Prime Minister is just an MP who is the leader of his or her party, who is invited to become the Prime Minister by the head of state, that is the monarch, it follows that any citizen of Great Britain, any of the Commonwealth countries, or the Republic of Ireland could become Prime Minister. End quote. What is Jamaica's position? The relevant Section 40 of the Constitution prohibits citizens of any foreign power or state sitting in the House or the Senate, except in the case where that power or state is a Commonwealth country. Putting political mischief aside, leader of the opposition Mark Golding, who was born in Jamaica, but who by virtue of his late father being a citizen of Great Britain holds dual citizenship, is legally entitled to sit in Parliament as the people's representative for the South St. Andrew political constituency and to aspire to become Prime Minister. Speaking at a discussion on the Jamaican constitutional reform process at the University of the West Indies Faculty of Law on June 5, 2024, former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson, not one to step into a political firestorm since his retirement from politics, left no doubt that he finds the status quo regarding dual citizenship for certain sensitive positions unacceptable. Said he, and I quote, "In my view, no valid reason exists for maintaining the provisions pertaining to a Commonwealth citizen other than a citizen of Jamaica who is resident for at least 12 months to be eligible for parliamentary office." End of quote. Mr. Golding has made clear his intention to follow the long-practiced tradition of members of the legislature caught in the dual citizenship conundrum, renouncing their foreign allegiance. The timing, though, could be problematic for him, given recent polls showing negative public sentiment toward prime ministers holding dual citizenship, and the fact that the country is at the height of the political silly season. Think on these things.
Produced by Agency for Inner City Renewal, AIR, and recorded in the Jamming Studio Trenchtown, a breath of fresh air bringing change to the inner city.
Touching lives every day, so many different ways, a part of all you do. Sagicor will make you feel secure, reaching out for more, we'll always see you through. Reach for more, whatever you're dreaming, whatever your goals, will help you achieve them. You're never alone. Taking care of today's needs, take care of tomorrow's dreams. Every day helping you succeed, that's what Sagicor means. Today's needs, tomorrow's dreams. Sagicor, my Mega Mind.
one location make Megamart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills. Fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy. All in one amazing location. My Megamart, the best value by far.
We've been a part of everyday Jamaican life for over 25 years. From paydays to birthdays, unexpected emergencies to anniversary celebrations, the supermarket checkout line, or paying a bill or taxes on time. Our fast, secure debit network provides reliable service so you can always depend on Multilink. Jamaican and proud, fast, secure, everywhere.
"24 minutes after 7 now, 7 educators participated in a presidential debate put on by the Jamaica Teachers Association on Monday. This to determine who will be the next president-elect and subsequently president of the organization. The incumbent President Leighton Johnson will demit office in August. The current president-elect is Principal of Monroe College, Mark Smith. He'll become the 60th president of the JTA. In August, the winner of the current race will be announced as the new JTA president-elect. The contenders are a teacher at the Convent of Mercy Academy, Alpha Dorian Allen Rainford, the principal of Fogo Road Infant, Suzette Baker Tulloh, vice principal of St. James High, Georgia Gowdy Green, principal of Yallas High School, Mark Malabar. I can never remember this man's name. Mark Malab, is it? Principal of Broadleaf Primary and Infant, Eaton McNamee. Teacher at Donald Quarry High School, O'Keefe Saunders. And a senior teacher at the Manning School, Jermaine Williams. Well, Rodney Campbell was at the JTA's headquarters on Church Street in downtown Kingston for the debate. And he joins us now. Good evening, Rodney.
Evening, Cliff, and your co-host is who?
It's Ricardo Brooks. He's not in the studio just now.
Oh, he might as well not be. All right.
Please.
Good evening to your listeners and your viewers.
First of all, tell me, is this a new format of the JTA or what?
Well, it seems as if it's something that they now want to promote to their membership, to probably give everybody an opportunity to not just have selective groups hear from the candidate of their choice or the candidate that's available to them, but to have everybody on show at the same time. And of note, in the conference room, none of the membership was present. Everybody had to join online. Only the one or two supporters of each presenter were actually in the room along with media.
Mm-hmm. So it was streamed live?
It was streamed live, and I asked why it is that the membership was obviously missing. But it seems that it was a decision they took to possibly say, all right, you know what, it would be difficult for so many people from all over that hour to get in. Plus, I personally believe that it was sort of meant to keep everybody from having noise and distractions and
So what was the format? What was the format of the debate for the 7 contenders?
All right, so they started about 5:15, and in alphabetical order, they lined up all the presenters on stage, and each candidate was given 3 minutes to promote their own agenda. After that, the next section came with each being asked a question, and a rebuttal was allowed. For 1 or 2 rebuttals were allowed to counteract that position given. But
go ahead.
I must tell you, maybe it is that my opinion of it, I think it's a great idea, and it did a lot to for us to be able to hear these ideas. But I will say that in 2024, one of the most outstanding things is really something that stood out, and it wasn't outstanding in a positive way. None of the candidates seemed to be very concerned with the main stakeholder in education, and that is students. Everybody was pushing the agenda for, and most of them had the same kind of agenda. There were, of course, different suggestions given, but overall, better pay, housing benefits, motor vehicle concessions. Those three were probably the most consistent across the board.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you pretty much what each candidate, just as a very short thing, what each candidate was pushing pretty much. Jermaine Williams, he believed that teachers need protection in the classroom, and proposed development courses for, I think development courses in the line of how to protect oneself and
as in
self-defense.
As in self-defense?
Something along that line.
Oh.
And he also suggested that 24-hour security. I suspect he meant as long as school was in session.
Mm-hmm.
At all schools, because of safety first. By the way, O'Keefe Saunders, his first name is actually Terrian, but he uses O'Keefe Saunders.
Uh-huh.
And he, throughout, branded himself the man with the plan and called himself a radical in the system who wanted to make significant changes contrary to what has always existed. Ethan McNamee said he's not about making promises to promote himself in elections, but believes that teachers should be given opportunities for self-development. He believes very strongly in human resource development for teachers to make them better. The fourth presenter, Mark Malava, believes that teachers at all levels have been shortchanged with the latest salary package offered, and he believes research and data from Ernst and Young, which is what he says the government used to come to their own calculation for parliamentarians and others, needs also to be applied across the board to teachers. We only have about two more. Suzette, Georgia Gowdy Green said that she's competent and determined and plans to lobby for NHT houses on the open market for teachers to be given a special kind of concession specifically for NHT houses on the open market. She also believes in security and wants CCTV cameras right across Jamaica wherever schools are located, and believes as well in pension and health benefits, better pension and health benefits for teachers. Suzette Baker Tulloh said the economy is doing exceptionally well, and she cited GDP and all these figures, and said that the role of teachers being so critical to society, the remuneration should match the value of the teachers and should also reflect what the economy is saying. And finally, Darian Allen Rainford sees herself as an agitator on behalf of the teachers to the government, whichever administration might be in power, and she says she's working on behalf of teachers at all levels, from early childhood all the way up, and they must be paid a livable wage based on their competence, especially, she highlighted more than anything else, the early childhood education level.
And Rodney,
being shortchanged.
7 contenders, and not one addressed the issue of the underperformance of our students, the outcomes we're seeing throughout the secondary system, the infant primary school level. Not one spoke to those issues.
Well, Cliff, let us be consistent and fair. We have had on nationwide countless interviews with representatives of the JTA and teachers across. And we've always come to the conclusion that the minimum, the very least of the apostles has always been the most significant stakeholder in the constituency, and that is the student. So, as I said, everything that was put forward was not, and I give you a joke. When I heard a call for security for teachers, I said, yes, I know where this is going. But it never at one point, at any point, included the safety and security of children. Right? And it is clear that we're in trouble.
So, no mention of the poor performance of our students. What about what has been reported recently that the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Kassan Troop, drew public attention to in front of the teachers last Thursday that the government of Jamaica has been spending billions of dollars pumping
on
in
teaching aids,
teaching and learning resources, including the use of the Learning Hub, putting in place a system to respond to their complaints that they're spending too much time writing lesson plans, and they have now uploaded thousands of lesson plans, and the teachers not even opening the portal. No mention of that?
None of those things. Cliff?
These people not serious.
They're
not serious.
Let me tell you, it was clear, and I believe that each of these candidates understands the temperature of the membership. We're talking about people offering themselves for leadership from as far as Westmoreland all the way to St. Thomas, right across the length and breadth. And it is obvious that they are all, and I will use the word, pandering to the popularity of what is put forward on a platform, right? And it seems if we are to take their stance this evening as the general feeling and sentiment of our teachers, well, at least our teachers in the JTA, because there are many teachers who are not members of the JTA. If we are to take that, then we understand that going forward, as we have been for quite some time, our children are going to be left as the last of selections, right? I would have really appreciated if even one of the candidates had stood up and said, look, this needs attention. Our children need us to be better for them. Even as a last line, but salary.
I hear you, Rodney.
Salary.
It is distressing. It is distressing.
It is.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Oh, dear. Time for the break. After the break, your calls. 876-630-937124 or 876, yes, 618-8255.
More savings, more choices. Get active with Active Home Center. The one-stop shop for everything for your home. We have more savings, more choices, unbelievable prices. Wide selection with the latest styles. The kitchen, bathroom, right down to the tile. Buy the hottest items on spot, don't miss out. Best options under one roof, no doubt. More savings, more choices.
Visit us in store or online at www.activehomecenter.com.
We have more savings, more choices.
My name is Kedrin Campbell. I come from the Appleton Basic School. My favorite Olympic hero is Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Watch for Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Looking back now, I say there's no barrier when it comes to your passion and your calling as time honors your greatness. So I thank you so much, and I pray that you'll be an inspiration to all young girls, mainly the girls, to know that there's no limits when you believe what you believe and continue to work hard. We are strong, we are powerful, and most importantly, we are fearless.
It's glorious gold once again to Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce.
tuned to the Paris Olympic on Nationwide 90 FM.
Welcome back to Nationwide at 5. We're taking your calls 630-9371 to 461-88255. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Cliff Hughes.
Bobby.
Very much awake, Clapper D.
Dempsey asleep?
Yes.
Bobby, good evening.
Yes, good evening, Siobhan. Good evening, Sir Cliff.
Not Siobhan, it's Ricardo.
Oh, Ricardo, I'm sorry, yes. Yes, good evening. You know, what I saw happening today with these taxi operators, it is their fault. If they had maintained good law and order on the road and don't break the Road Traffic Act, the government wouldn't have imposed these demerit points on them. And to be honest, gentlemen, I feel that this demerit point is too soft for them, man. It should be tougher. You can have...
Just to be clear, it doesn't just apply to taxi operators, just to be clear.
Huh?
It doesn't just apply to taxi operators.
Right, yes, I understand.
Okay.
You can have a pedestrian stand up on the side of the road at the bus stop, bus and taxi operators, because another good driver is waiting in the line. They decide to take the soft shoulder, mow down people on the soft shoulder, go inside the bus stop and mow down people there. No, those drivers, them not ready to drive yet. Suspend them license, prison them, right? So I am in 100% agreement with the government, with this demerit points, for us to have law and order on the road. And those bus and taxi operators who go out there and strike today and disrupt the education sector, they are very indisciplined, right? And they must realize that now is CXC time and students have to go out and take their exam. Schools have been disrupted miserably today because we had to send home our students early.
Bobby,
Huh?
Bobby.
Uh-huh.
You know I don't hold no brief for the lawless elements in the public passenger operating system.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at some of these regulations and demerit points and the fines,
Mm-hmm.
some of them are nonsensical.
Cliff?
And one has got to be fair.
No, Cliff.
Some of them are, as the traffic authority, the police say, are in need of review.
No, Cliff.
You may disagree.
I would never do that.
You may disagree with them being premature in withdrawing their service, but I think they have a case. They have a case for a review and restructuring of some of these regulations.
The only case they must have, Cliff, is for them to drive properly on the road and stop break the road traffic.
That is not beyond, that is not up for debate here now. Because we see that every day. That is not the issue. The bad driving, the indiscipline, that is not up for question. Yes? That is not for debate. We see that every day.
Right.
Yeah? But I think some of these regulations just don't make any sense.
Well, Cliff, I am going to give
How you going to charge a man and $500,000 for offense, and yet you don't lodge any demerit points against his license?
But they're also not clear if it's actually 500 or 50,000.
They're not clear.
Yeah.
Well, Cliff, I am going to give somebody else a chance to
All
talk.
right, Bobby.
But I just want to say this to you. I commend Minister Darrell Vaz and the administration to put these stiff measures in place. And what I would advise them that next time, make it stiffer. Okay, then. Thank you and God bless you. Here.
All right, sir.
Wes, good evening. Wes?
Yes?
Good evening, Wes.
Good evening.
Good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, Mr. Hughes.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
You see, I listen to Bobby, you know, Bobby, I would love to meet Bobby face to face. Bobby agrees with this thing because it is implemented by the green people, you know, our people. But this I was because I have nothing to say, but I'm going to say them fast, right? One of the questions I was hoping was either you would have asked the ACP this evening is this: since there's no way for the taxi to stop, it is illegal to stop at the bus stop. It is illegal to pick up at the bus stop. But where is it legal for a taxi to stop at the pickup? Because people gather at bus stop. That's where people gather at bus stop. Now you have bus stop, right? But you don't have a taxi stop. Where is it that the taxi should stop?
Mm-hmm.
And I am one. I don't really need a crowd to support me to believe what I believe in. But I believe that this new transportation, when named the new Road Traffic Act, is a revenue for the government. It is. Because when you hear ACT and all of them talk, it is all about how many tickets they issue and how many money is being made. But ask them how many lives are being saved, how many, the driving remain. And because of some rogue taxi driver, a lot of people issue and hate taxi driver because of the rogue taxi drivers and the broad brush everybody.
Did you hear when I put it to ACP?
Yeah.
Did you hear his response?
In skirt around.
No. He answered it squarely.
No, what he's actually talking about, if they were to apply more pressure, then no taxi will be driving.
No, he made the point that it's about enforcing the rules to have some kind of discipline and order on the nation's roads.
So that's what I'm saying to you, and I am on the road daily, and I am not experienced more discipline than ever before. Drivers gun speed on the road same way. I can give you that there are two things happened to me recently, Mr. Hughes and Ricardo. And I'm going to start with a recent one yesterday. I received a ticket yesterday for no signal. I was coming down Arbitrary Road, and I met, the little slick road to take you on to Oxford Road. I come off Arbitrary Road and I come on Oxford Road. But you have the line there, so if a vehicle is coming up Arbitrary and turn there, you have to stop, make them go across. And of course, I do the stop and then I continue, and I was ticketed for no signal. When there is nowhere to go, it's one road. I am merging from Arbitrary Road to Oxford Road, coming from Arbitrary.
Mm-hmm.
And I received a ticket and 2 points.
Why? Because you didn't signal that you were entering Oxford Road?
Exactly. And I could, what the fuck? I could not go anywhere. I could not turn right because there's no island right there.
So logically, you have to, you should give way, and then once the way is clear, you go.
Exactly, but I was ticketed for not putting on a signal.
Oh, that's
so I tell the policeman, it is once in a life, there will be a police, and twice there will be a civilian. I received a ticket and I move on. And the other day, a police ticketed me at out by Rockford, nearby the JUTC, they are under the tree. I know they were there because I just passed them there, go down, and going back home now. So I am fully aware that they are there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? My dashboard is digital. I am traveling at 40. So when I saw the police support, I was saying, hey, I must back my small check. But of course, I was going 67. And they showed to me. And the government said, I am ready to challenge you. Write a ticket fast so we can go court quick. Right? He said, you take me for that. I said, yes, man. I'm not reserving to tell us a lie to the family. So while he was there talking, I called my wife and I'm telling her what happened. And she said to me, ask him to show you on the gun what time entrap you. And I said to him, let me see. He showed me 67 and he showed me a date. I said, what time is that on the gun? What time is it saying that they trapped me? Is that not important? I said, no. It is important. Show to me on it. So, in reluctant, but in show to me. So it was 3:15, right? And it when the speed was trapped, while him stopped me, it was 3:20, 5 minutes ago. But he trapped me at 20 past, but the speed and it was quarter past, and then he go back and say, well, you know, so the system malfunction now and then in a virgin, and we make it and whichever. I said, okay, but if you can't make a court, the court to the judge that. I could not. Right? So a lot of persons talking a lot against taxi operators on the road, Mr. Hughes and Ricardo, because a lot of rogue taxi drivers create bitterness in other people. But people must also understand that the merit points, it affects everybody. But until it starts to squeeze the crowd, you're not here.
All right, West. Let's give somebody else a chance. Yes.
It was full of St. Thomas.
Okay.
So to talk to man with demonstrate, I understand them pain.
Mm-hmm.
Not broad brush everybody night.
All right, Wes. Thanks for the call.
All right, sir.
Winston, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. I was listening keenly to you and Rodney Williams not too long ago.
Campbell.
Yes. I found it very interesting. You have all these people vying to be the JTA president, and not one of them talk about the students.
Yes.
Not one of them.
And the performance of the education system, sir. Not one. And that's not, as Mr. Campbell reminded me, that has been a pattern of JTA leaders in recent times, for quite some time. That they don't really speak to the outcomes of the education system. What we're getting, it's everybody else's fault except theirs. And when the permanent secretary makes the point, Dr. Kassan Troop, that they're not, the government spent billions of dollars to supply them with teaching and learning resources. And some of them don't even turn on the portal.
Shameful.
It is an absolute disgrace.
Shameful. When I heard it in the newscast this afternoon, I was shocked. Shameful.
Yeah. And not a word from the JTA. Not a word. Yeah? And they complain. Government not doing this, government not giving them this, and the government gives them hundreds of millions of dollars. And Kassan Troop is begging them to make use of the resources. Huh?
Which should improve the teaching and learning process.
Experience, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And the teachers has received good increase over the last 2 years. But I want to go back to the students. I believe the students is in number one in all of this. The students are to be number one. And we have 7 people vying for leadership. And not one of them talk about the students. Not one of them look and say, but wait, why are we here as teachers? It's the students. We are here to teach the next generation. You see the problem Jamaica is having?
Yeah.
Because our educators is somewhere else, not where it ought to be.
Yeah.
I don't want to take up much more of your time.
All right, sir.
I did want to talk about the taxes thing, but I leave that for another time.
All right.
All right, Winston. Ridge, good evening.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Hughes and Jeremy, right? Ricardo, yeah, good evening. Yes, sir. Concerning the taxes strike today and stuff like that. I'm in the Northeast era, and the trend that has been going around, the trend that has been seen with the police in that era, is that they're using the ticketing system as a weapon and also a revenue for the government, because I run in fear of the officers on the road. And when you question and you ask why they're pressuring the taximen and especially the taximen, because they are in the road every day. I was told that each and every one has a quota to meet every day that they go out on the street. So you will see in less than 50 meters, you will see like 20 officers. And
who is it told you that about quota?
The police officers themselves. Can you ask them? You say, why are you pressuring the motorists so much? They say, sir, I have my quota to meet, and they will go. They will go to around the vehicle. They look on tires, they look on fire extinguishers, they look on badges and stuff like that, just because they want to charge for something. So they have to, they could have to fill.
I don't know how much I would buy into that, sir. Given the level of lawlessness on the roads.
No,
yes?
I'm not disputing that. That is true. But as a person that I've experienced some of these things, I'm telling you, it is indeed a revenue for the government. And also they use
fines are revenues for government.
Right, and I thought you said just now that they look for something to charge you for. That means when they do charge you, it's because you've broken the law. They found something that warrants the charge or the ticket, rather.
Okay, yes, I will not disagree on that.
So they're not just giving it for the sake of giving you. They're giving it because they found something wrong.
Yeah, but why? Okay, after the signature is in a car, not all the time it is present in the eyes of the public, like right above your dashboard there. Sometimes it will be in the trunk.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they want to see that.
Okay.
Yes. So when a person is going all the way, they want to see a fine signature in the trunk of your car. So I see that as definitely yes. Yes, they have the quotas. Yes, they're gonna write your ticket. They're gonna find ways and means to write your ticket.
I hear you, sir.
That's how I see it because of what I've experienced and what I've seen. Mm-hmm. Because I observe and I ask questions. So this is feel like I'm getting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, Ridge. Thanks for the call. Carl?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Carl?
Yes, good evening. Carl. Good evening, Mr. Yu.
Good evening, sir.
Bobby need to go attend to his fall. Let me know his fall house and stop come talk foolishness. That's what Bobby needs to go do. The only problem we have with what happened today, Mr. Yu, the minister keep a meeting with the transport people last week Wednesday and asked them to wait until tomorrow to hear the worst what is going to happen. And then take politics. Some of them use politics today and went and strike. That's the only problem we have with what happened today. What Bobby talking is all foolishness. Bobby doesn't understand what is happening on the street. Attend to your chicken then, Bobby. At the fowl house.
Where is the evidence?
Leave out of transport business.
Where is the evidence that they were using politics?
Repeat, please.
Where's the evidence that politics motivated it?
Okay, I will left that right there.
So you want to send Bobby going to Folko, but you don't want to give me the evidence?
I am a politician, and I do not afraid to tell nobody that I'm a politician. I'm a supporter of the Jamaica Labour Party. A young guy we have a
and that is why you assume that anything done which embarrasses your government is inspired by politics.
I was out there in the road also today.
And you hear people say, well, do this with PNP.
Politics come in today. I am not asking.
In what way did it come in? In what way?
Okay. It's just because I don't want to tell you exactly where I went. But it don't give me some Mackenzie know where me operate. And whole lot of people know where me operate. The politics came in today fully.
All right, sir.
I'm not asking that. Me have a prime minister. We have a Jamaica passport. He's a citizen of Jamaica. Spanish town, that's in born and grow.
Hey, you forgot the long jump, you know. That was a leap, you know, man.
Right at Spanish town, that's in born and grow with him Jamaica passport.
Yes.
And me born at Kingston and St. Andrew with a Jamaica passport.
Mm-hmm. Cliff Barn.
All right, Carl.
Cliff Barn and Victoria Jubilee.
Lionel.
Hey, what a leap, man.
Dear. That's so we're going to leave it, for the evening. Thank you all so much. Thanks to our callers, our contributors, our YouTubers. Yes. Dear. Thanks to our producers, Delicia Brown Bull and Dana Davey. Our technical operator, Andrew Anderson. And, of course, members of the news and production team. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Reminding you, take care of your loved one and look out for your neighbor. Good night.
Good night.
Easter is a time for family, fun, and celebration. And at Chris and Charles, we believe that no bunny comes